Grey Cup Championship. Last year, the Eskimos returned to face the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. And again, it's humiliation. The Bombers hammer Edmonton 50-11. Once again, it's disappointment under the dome. And tonight, the Eskimos return to the scene of the crime. TSN presents the CFL Game of the Week. Tonight's game brought to you by GMC Trucks, the trucks more people lean on. And by 7-Up, it's cool to be clear. We are under the dome in Vancouver, where the Edmonton Eskimos put their undefeated record on the line against the BC Lions, who won their first game last week. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to BC Place. I'm Gord Miller. You won't find many stadiums where the Edmonton Eskimos have a losing record, but this is one of them. In the regular season against the Lions here, the Eskimos are 5-6, and in Grey Cup games, the Eskimos are 1-2 at BC Place. Now, evening their Grey Cup record will take at least a couple of years, but tonight, the Eskimos do have a chance to even their regular season mark at BC Place against the Lions. But it will be no easy task because BC has the hottest quarterback in the CFL. And Doug Flutie is standing by with Leif Pedersen.
Doug, you're off to a great start this year and 2 400-yard passing games. Your second year with the Lions now. Do you think it takes 2 years for a quarterback to really understand the CFL game?
I think it took a little while to get comfortable. Towards the end of last year, we got a little more consistent as an offense, and for myself as well. I think that, you know, there's different seams with the 12th man. There's some different reads. But for the most part, there's different seams and zones, and there's different approaches to attacking man-to-man coverage in this game than in the game down south.
Tonight, you've got 3 newcomers in the Edmonton secondary. I know when I played, I like playing against new guys. How do you feel? You looking forward to this one?
Well, it gives you a little more confidence, but the bottom line is our execution. We really try not to concern ourselves so much with what they're doing, but let's do what we do and do it well and make them worry about us rather than us worrying about them.
Thank you very much. Best of luck tonight.
Thanks a lot.
Well, with more on the Edmonton Eskimo problems, here's John Wells.
Leif, the Eskimo problems are 3 deep in the secondary because of 3 key injuries last week. Mark Norman will start at safety for Jim Rockford. And David Shelton makes his first start at left half for Stephon Jordan. Then Eddie Thomas makes his professional debut at left corner for Roy Bennett. Some reasons to smile, perhaps, for quarterback Doug Flutie, but you know that the Eskimo front 7 will turn up the heat just a little bit to put pressure on Flutie in the BC Lion offense tonight. Gord?
All right, thanks very much, John. The matchup we'll be watching tonight is between 2 big play men. Chris Major on the corner against Jim Sandusky. Promises to be a great one, and we'll keep an eye on it all night for you. Coming up next, 2-0 meets 1-1 under the dome. And we'll be back with a kickoff when the Game of the Week continues on TSN.
Well, Sandusky's a shifty receiver. He runs good routes. He works hard in his routes, and he never stops running those routes. If he runs it out and is covered, he'll turn it into something else. So it's going to be tough for me to keep my coverage on him, even after the play is over with, just to make sure that he doesn't turn a small route into a big game.
Well, you know, Chris is an experienced corner, and I think with a lot of experienced corners, they tend to take chances sometimes. I put Chris in that category. They'll bite on a lot of intermediate routes, your 12 to 14-yard curl or out routes, and a player like that, you know, you got to get him early to have him respect you, and that's going up top or getting him with a double move or so on.
Victory in the CFL, the first meeting between the Lions and the Eskimos.
Well, there's Jim Sandusky involved in the matchup tonight. Both players with a great deal of respect for each other. Jim Sandusky, very shifty. And even if he's covered, he'll do something different on the field to try and get away from coverage. As Chris Major told you, he is sneaky, shifty, but so is Chris Major. He had a great game last week. In fact, voted Defensive Player of the Week in the CFL with his 2 interceptions in their win against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. So that's the matchup for tonight. Should be a good one.
And the BC Lions are ready to kick off. Tony Pasaglia making the final adjustments back at his 35-yard line. And deep for the Edmonton Eskimos at the other end of the field, Tony Cherry and Henry the Gizmo Williams. This is Cherry on the return for the Eskimos. Across the 35 and stacked up there by a raft of BC Lions, led by Andrew Thomas. 19-yard return. And here comes Tracy Ham and the Eskimo offense.
Well, he had a great week last week in their big win over the Ottawa Rough Riders. 3 touchdown passes in that game. And, of course, when it came to crunch time at the end, he threw that touchdown pass to Jim Sandusky to put the game away. He is one of the best ones.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos, and they begin the evening at their own 39-yard line. Decent field position and time for Tracy Ham. At least initially, he fires while going down and gets a strike to Jim Sandusky out at the 50-yard line. Sandusky stopped by Norm Jefferson after a 21-yard gain.
If you're going to give Jim Sandusky this kind of time to work his way open, he'll have no problem doing that. BC Lions in his zone coverage. Watch Sandusky. He just gets to the open area in the middle. Tracy Ham with enough time to deliver a strike. And a nice way to start the football game for the Edmonton Eskimos.
And Ham fired that pass while he was going down. Sandusky on the receiving end. First down, Edmonton.
He's strong enough to do that.
Reggie Taylor. And Taylor has another Eskimo first down. He is inside the 40. Stopped by Jefferson there. Here's the way the Eskimos stack up offensively. No changes along that line. That's the way they've been all season long. Ambrosi playing very well. 2 good wideouts, both former BC Lions.
Yes, and Craig Ellis having another great year. 10 catches in 2 games for him. Reggie Taylor, who you just saw on that nice rushing play, he anchors that backfield along with big pounding runner Blake Marshall.
A gain of 20, but Ham is in trouble on first down and sacked by a former Eskimo, Stuart Hill.
You know, after 2 games, Stuart Hill had not had a sack, so you know he was hungry early tonight to get on the plus side of the sacking for the year. Of course, last year led the league with 17, and he shoots in, and Tracy Ham has no chance. Stuart Hill with his first sack of 1991. Took a while for him to get that.
It'll be 2nd and 21. The Eskimos now back at the 46. More pressure on Ham. He unloads deep for Sandusky. And Sandusky draws double coverage. Jefferson was there, along with Robin Boulanger, the safety.
That's what you have to have from your middle safety, number 18, Robin Boulanger. Jefferson had him from the outside. He's in perfect position. You know you're going to get help from the inside. Here comes 18 Boulanger. He arrives at the same time, and that's what you ask from your center fielder, to get a little help on that post pattern. They do a nice job on the secondary.
So it is a 3rd down situation as Ray McAreedy steps forward, averaging 43 yards a punt. McAreedy back at his own 49.
Time count violation. Edmonton number 4, 3rd down.
What was the reason for that?
Well, you know, they weren't sure of their blocking assignments. You could see them all talking to each other at the line of scrimmage, and that's a smart play. Take the 5-yard penalty. Certainly at this point of the field, it's not crucial. Make sure you get those assignments correct. They don't want to have any blocks, so, you know, punting from the BC 52 really doesn't make a difference.
McAreedy gets it away. Norman Jefferson at his 5 for the Lions. And the Eskimos have the return well covered as Jefferson gets out across the 12. Stopped by Blake Marshall and Michael Souls. No score so far on our game of the week.
Well, I think the big key is that anytime you make changes and you make more than 3, that's a lot. But 3 in the secondary out of 5 is a lot for any one week. But, you know, this is a strange game up here with a limited man roster of 36. People get hurt, and when they get hurt and you get them all in one place, there's nothing you can do about it. So all we can do is line up. Every person that's playing earned the right to be there in training camp. They worked hard. They played through the preseason. They go to the practice roster, and on the practice roster, you're 1 injury away from playing. And that's the case tonight, so we expect them to step in and pick it right up where they left off.
So here are the changes back there. Mark Norman at safety, David Shelton at left half, and Eddie Thomas, number 17, on the left corner. For Thomas, his first ever professional game.
I would think they'd like to test him early, too. You know, he's a rookie from San Jose State, and Ronnie Lancaster knows when he was a quarterback, if he had a rookie out there on the island, he wanted to go after him early. It's a big field for a young guy in his first game to try and cover one-on-one.
When you talked to Flutie before the game, he was being just a little bit coy. I think that he might be licking his chops right about now.
I talked to Doug a few minutes ago, and although he said, well, we stick with our schemes and all the right polite things you're supposed to say, I would think that he'd want to test the right side, his right side of the secondary anyway, Edmonton's left.
Flutie has been hitting on almost 60% of his passes. He's had a great start in 2 games so far. 1st and 10 for the Lions from the 12. John Volpe stopped by Brett Williams, number 91.
Great job on the right side. Leo Groenwagen, the right guard, originally a first-round draft pick from the Ottawa Rough Riders, traded over to BC for Gerald Roper. Good trade for both teams. The Rope starting for Ottawa, but he just sealed Mike Walker, who's a big, tough tackle to the inside. Volpe, lots of running room up there. Picks 8. Nice start.
It is 2nd and 10 for the Lions, now out at the BC 20-yard line. Alexander makes the catch on 2nd and 3. Eddie Thomas makes the tackle.
All-Canadian offensive line holding has been the problem for this group so far in the young season. Receiving core, pleasant surprises with the 2 slot backs, Matt Clark and Mike Trevathan, and the 2 rookies in the lineup. Raymond Etheridge, the rookie wide receiver, and John Volpe had a big game last week in their win over Winnipeg.
This is Volpe. On 1st down, he's got about 4, stopped by Willie Pless.
John Volpe scored on a lovely screen pass touchdown last week in overtime against Winnipeg. Here you see the cutback, but good pursuit by Willie Pless from the inside linebacking spot. He makes the tackle. That's the way the Edmonton defense is structured against the run. They really don't expect their front 3 of the Toaster Williams, Michel Bourgeau, and Mike Walker to make a lot of the tackles. They're expecting Danny Bass and Willie Pless, the 2 inside linebackers, to make all those plays, and Pless did a nice job right there.
2nd and 6 for Flutie and the Lions to the far side. Etheridge makes the catch, and does he have the 1st down? He should be close. That's the newcomer, Raymond Etheridge, and he was stopped by David Shelton.
Well, let's tell him the story right now, Wellesley. What did he do in high school, Raymond Etheridge?
Well, he beat the Rocket in a 100-yard dash.
Rocket Ishmael. So you know what they call him out here? They call him the Missile. Raymond Etheridge. First pro game tonight. 6 foot, 180 pounds, Pasadena City College.
They're pretty high on him.
Yeah, well, he's got the good speed.
And his catch was good for a 1st down. Flutie over the middle for Jay Christensen. And it's his first game of 1991. Eddie Thomas made this cover, or provided the coverage on Christensen. Up front, a 3-man group for the Edmonton Eskimos, Walker Bourgeau and Brett Williams. This is where they're really strong with Blue, Pless, Bass, and Ruck at the linebacking core.
The front 7, same as last week. Now, this is where the fun starts. Mark Norman, not really that bad. Norman was a starter last year, off and on.
He got hurt.
Yeah, David Shelton played 5 games. The only really raw rookie out there tonight is Eddie Thomas on the corner.
Yeah, but that's the most dangerous spot.
Yes, it is.
2nd and 10. Flutie gets some pressure, steps up, can't get it away. The Toaster was there, and so was Leroy Blue. Who would you credit with a sack?
Half and half.
Okay.
You know, you talk about the Edmonton secondary and the problems they may have. Well, they decided to come with the blitz. That forces man-to-man coverage, and you'll see Doug Flutie initially steps up. He just has no one to throw to, and of course by that time the sack and the pressure comes, but the secondary, they get credit for half that sack. They did a nice job back there.
Lou Pasaglia standing at his 12. Henry Williams on the return. The Lions had him figured that time. Robin Belanger stopped the gizmo for a return of 8 after a 48-yard punt. Ron Lancaster meets Bob Obilovich for the first time as the head coach of the Edmonton Eskimos. And Obi's a little upset at a face mask call on the kick return charged against the BC Lions and number 35 Paul Whitmore.
Obi's done a nice job putting this team together. You know, normally a guy that likes to play a lot of veteran players, he's really gone out on a limb this year with a number of rookies, but so far the rookies have played pretty well for him. You know, you look at the inside receivers, he's gone with Matt Clark and Mike Trevathan. They've played well. O.J. Brigant's an exciting young linebacker. He's been great. Obi's taking a chance on a lot of young guys, and so far they're 1-1 and playing pretty well. There's O.J. Arenthal James.
From Rice.
Yeah.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos from the 52. Reggie Taylor, and he's out across midfield. Stopped by Stu Hill. Check out the BC defense up front with Hill, McCready, Joseph, and Wise.
Yeah, Gerald Bayless out of the lineup had an appendectomy, so he is gone. Lloyd Joseph replaces him. New middle linebacker tonight. Doug Hawking played junior football, so he gets a big opportunity to play in the secondary, the same as last week.
2nd and 5. Ham tries to get to the outside, comes up with a first down. Tracked down by Hawking, number 90. A 19-yard gain for Ham on 2nd and long.
Throughout his career, he's averaged almost 8 yards a carry, and Tracy Ham, as he so often does, makes things happen on his own, and this is why he's had back-to-back 1,000-yard rushing season. Sets a new record, it seems, every year, and nice job running the football there.
Eskimos with a first down at the 31 of BC. Ham lost the ball and has to cover up. Lloyd Joseph was through to pin Ham, but he just bobbled the football.
Kind of a funny one there. Nobody hit him. He just lost the handle at it as he steps up. A little bit of pressure coming from Stu Hill, but I guess he hits Trevor Bowles' shoulder pad with the ball. It comes loose, and he does the smart thing and just jumps on it.
Loss of 10. This will be 2nd and 20. The Eskimos now back at the 41. Ham steps up and fires. The Eskimos will be short of the first down. Masadi made the catch, and Ken Petway made the tackle.
BC Lions decide on 2nd and long to come with some extra pressure. They do a stunt up front, and Reggie Taylor does a super job of picking up the blitz. There's number 90, Doug Hawking, the rookie linebacker, coming on the blitz, and Reggie Taylor meets him head on, makes the block. They complete the pass. Unfortunately, it just wasn't far enough to pick up the first down, but Reggie, nice job. 5'6", 175 against a much bigger man. He stood his ground. Nice block.
From the 41, Ray McAreedy. No problem as the Eskimos take the lead in the opening quarter with 6:23 to play. The Eskimos out in front of the BC Lions, 3-0.
Game because their defense is doing a lot of the same types of things we do, and it'll be interesting to see how that goes.
Bob Obilovich and Ron Lancaster go back a few years. Has great respect for Lancaster and the defense of the Edmonton Eskimos, despite all those new faces back there.
Well, they're going to do a few things defensively tonight, Edmonton, to protect some of those guys. They're definitely going to rush. Whoever's rushing on the outside is determined that they will keep Doug Flutie inside the pocket, not let him get outside, and then they're going to work a little double coverage on the inside receivers of BC. So if Flutie can complete passes to the wideouts, he'll have success. If not, Edmonton's going to try and take away the inside game. So says Ron Lancaster anyway.
This is Etheridge on the return for the BC Lions. He's got great speed, but he didn't get to use it. Dropped at the 30 by Jed Roberts after a return of 14. So Doug Flutie, after 2 great games, is trying to get the Lions moving here just a little bit in the opening quarter. So far, that has been a bit of a problem. First and 10 BC from the 31. Flutie shovels it off for Chris Skinner, and Skinner finds a big hole for the first down. Larry Ruck and Willie Pless stop Chris Skinner.
The BC Lions do a great job of running the screenplay. Watch here, they suck the defensive lineman in, just to dump it off to Chris Skinner, get some blocking out front. He really does most of it on his own, but they invite that defensive front 3 to get upfield, and then they flip it over top, and that's a good play.
For a gain of 13 and a BC first down at the 43. This is Volpe, and Volpe has great running room, but there is a flag down. Volpe could score. Oh, he's caught from behind by Enos Jackson. Hang on, folks. A flag back in the BC backfield. We're rolling this one all the way back. Obi has hated 2 calls so far tonight.
He hated a bunch last week in Winnipeg, too.
Holding BC number 55. First down repeated.
The center, Ian Sinclair.
Well, I think in 3 games now, the BC Lions have had enough holding penalties to last them the whole year. I think Larry Clarkson's had about 6. And now this, I mean, this cost them a lot of yardage. I mean, you're talking long run, 70-yard run there, and all of a sudden it comes back. And Obi, I don't blame you. It is frustrating.
This will be first and 20. Back at the 31 instead of what might have been. Flutie shovels it off. Chris Skinner once more. And Skinner is stopped short of the 40-yard line. Jed Roberts and Michelle Bourgoux, rather.
Well, the Edmonton defense reacted much better to that screenplay. The defensive front 3 did not and were not enticed too far into the BC backfield, and they came up and reacted to Chris Skinner pretty quickly.
Gain of 5 at 2nd and 15 Lions. Flutie himself run all the way, gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and maybe a yard more. Mark Norman up from his safety spot to make the tackle.
Pretty tough to convert 1st and 20 against the Edmonton defense. I mean, they're missing a few guys, but they still are pretty tough. Doug Flutie on a 2nd and 15 decides, don't want to take a chance on the turnover down here. I'll run it myself. We may not pick it up, but I've got a great kicker to get us out of trouble.
Pasaglia standing at his 30 for this kick. And Gizmo Williams back near his 20. Henry Williams on the return, tries the short side. Well covered by the Lions, led by Doug Hocking. 38-yard punt and a little return. 3-0. The Eskimos lead the BC Lions. 3:38 to play in the opening quarter at BC Place.
The matchup tonight, Chris Major, the fine corner for the BC Lions, against the tricky Jim Sandusky of the Edmonton Eskimos. Sandusky, 3 out of 5 years in the Canadian Football League. He's had over 1,000 yards receiving. That's a good matchup. We'll follow it for you.
1st and 10 Eskimos near sideline. David Williams. And he'll have a first down.
BC Lions run a 3-deep zone coverage, and what that means is the inside safety, Lolo James, has to get out and get underneath the out pattern. He could not get out quickly enough. Tracy Ham threw it over top of him. David Williams with his first catch of the night.
On first down, Ham rolls to the other side, and Sandusky is his target in front of Chris Major.
The BC corners are playing pretty soft here in the first quarter, giving the wide receivers of the Eskimos lots of room. Sandusky, nothing fancy here, just a break at 12 yards. The ball is in the air as he turns, and boy, unless Chris Major comes up and plays that a little tighter, they can do that all the way down the field.
Another Eskimo first down, and that segment of the matchup belongs to Jim Sandusky. A 12-yard gain as the Eskimos move out across midfield to the BC 54. Reggie Taylor stopped behind the line. Lions read that well, and Stu Hill led the way. With support from Derek McCready.
It's funny, we haven't talked about Stu Hill too much in the first few games that we've done with the BC Lions this year, but tonight he's playing with a great deal more enthusiasm. It looks like he is the first one there, makes the hit in the backfield, and the Eskimos lose one.
Hill had a sack earlier in the game. This will be 2nd and 11. The Eskimos right at midfield at the 55. Here's Ham looking for something to develop. Now Hill trying to track him down. Ham still going. Finally caught as he fired the ball. Nico Perkins, number 37, finally tracking down Tracy Ham.
Really shows you how tough it is to sack Tracy Ham. I mean, a few times it looked as though he was in deep trouble here, but he buys more time, makes a move on Lloyd Joseph there, and will eventually get around Stuart Hill here. But finally, Nico Perkins with enough pressure to cause this pass to be incomplete. But Tracy Ham, with his great ability, buys himself so much extra time.
Ray McAreedy, high kick. This is Norman Jefferson for the Lions on the return. Number 12, he's out to the 20-yard line. 44-yard punt, and Larry Ruck leading the Eskimo tacklers that time.
It's like a fight here in the first quarter. I mean, they're just feeling each other out a touch because nobody's been able to move the football. And Doug Flutie in for his 3rd series so far in the first quarter. No score.
The Eskimos have the only points of the ball game at 3-0. No score for Flutie. That was fine. Yeah.
Thanks for bailing me out there.
Minute 44 left in the opening quarter. Intending that for Chris Skinner. And Flutie was off the mark. Willie Pless was giving Skinner problems down there.
Talking to Eddie Thomas on the sidelines, the Eskimo coaches had a couple of pointers for him. One was when Ray Alexander's on your side, watch for the hook and go. They've been setting him up for it here. Threw a couple of short routes at him, and they think Alexander's going to try to take him deep right away.
Yeah, I would think they'd like to test the rookie early.
This is 2nd and 10 for the Lions. Flutie unloads in a hurry, far side. Alexander makes the catch. Alexander in front of Mark Mathis, and the gain is 12.
It's like the pass that Sandusky caught. Really a timing pattern on 2nd and 10, and this is a great catch by Alexander. Watch how he stretches out. He knows he's going to take the shot right in the stomach there, but he hangs on. That's a great catch and bails his team out of some trouble and pick up a first down to boot.
Alexander to the far side of the field. Raymond Etheridge flanks to the near side on 1st and 10 for the Lions. At the 34, this is Chris Skinner, the ball carrier. Skinner is met by a wave of Eskimo tacklers. He gains a couple. Leading the way that time, Willie Pless, number 39.
Tough team to run against because that front three like to just plug the gaps and let these two fine inside linebackers, Willie Pless and Danny Bass, just kind of freelance back there, read the play without blockers coming out on them, and then make the tackles. But the 3 guys up front, you know, plug in those gaps, and they're not really overly concerned with making tackles. Bass and Pless will take care of that.
They call it a gain of 4. This is 2nd and 6. Flutie stands back, almost intercepted. Mark Norman had his mitts on the football, and it slipped right through his fingers.
Mark Norman read it perfectly. You're going to get a great look at it. Norman to the left of your screen. He comes on the hook pattern to, I believe, Ray Alexander inside, and he should have had it.
There is a flag down.
Wouldn't be holding on BC again, would it?
I think from the vicinity of that red hanky it might
Holding.
be.
BC number 23. Decline. 3rd down.
It's John Volpe. the running back.
They're going to have to tape their hands up or something so they can't grab the jerseys, but that's a lot of holding penalties in 3 games.
This should be the last play of the opening quarter. Williams is back for a Louis Pasaglia kick. Another flag down as Gizmo begins his return. Looking for room to the outside. Caught from behind. 47-yard punt. Lorenzo Graham leading the tacklers for the Lions. This is against the Eskimos. We're waiting for the official word. It should be the end of the opening quarter, with the Eskimos out in front of the BC Lions 3-0 on a Ray McEready field goal.
Holding, Edmonton, first down.
So since the quarter cannot end on a penalty, we will play one more. Good coverage by the BC Lion cover teams on the Giz. Gizmo had an unbelievable week last week. 8 returns, 232 yards. Should have been
touchdown.
Should have been 2.
Should have been 2. Everyone's been talking about that this week.
That will make every single blooper film in North America.
Derek McCready putting the stop on Blake Marshall. And the quarter is over with the Eskimos leading the BC Lions 3-0 at BC Place.
This sports update is brought to you by Kellogg's Corn Flakes. Taste them again for the first time.
Good evening. I'm Paul Romanek back here at our TSN Control Center in Toronto. The Toronto Argonauts and the Winnipeg Blue Bombers playing tonight at the Sky Dome in Toronto and other CFL action. It was a wild one, to be sure. Early in the game, the Bombers up 3-0, and Mike Pinball Clemens takes the pitch, and look at him go. A 63-yard run that set up a field goal. But the real story, Bombers turnovers. Carl Brazeley with an interception. One of 11 turnovers by the Bombers. Brazeley racing 56 yards for the touchdown. Second half, more of the same. Burgess is decked there. Donovan Wright picks it off. He goes 34 yards with the turnover that sets up another field goal. It was like taking candy from a baby for the Argos tonight. They win by a score of 30-16.
Welcome back to the stadium at BC Place, where the Eskimos lead the BC Lions 3-0 as the second quarter is about to get underway. The Eskimos 2nd and 10 from the 16. Tracy Ham with time to throw, looking for Ellis. What a catch. Craig Ellis out near midfield, almost to the 55.
Now, the first thing everybody does is start looking for flags, and there aren't any. What a great catch by Craig Ellis. Lots of time for Tracy Ham to throw. They pick up the stunt. Trevor Bowles moves down inside, picks up Stuart Hill, and what a catch. Beautiful throw.
34-yard gain for Ellis and the Eskimos. And it'll be first down Edmonton at the 53. Some pressure on Ham as he got it away. Far side now. Ham for Williams. Jefferson made the tackle with a little help from Doug Hocking.
First quarter statistics brought to you by General Motors. Well, if this is indeed like a heavyweight fight, I guess we'll give the edge in the first round to Edmonton in net yards 87-67, but it's pretty close so far. We're waiting for the big bombs to fall.
And a bad bomb from Ham to Ellis moments ago. This time he goes to Sandusky. Sandusky makes the catch and has the first down on 2nd and 5. Sandusky in front of Chris Major.
Well, Sandusky's winning the matchup early. He's catching a number of balls, but nothing that's really hurt the BC Lions. Chris Major respects his deep ability as well and giving him some room. But Sandusky's caught his share already, but if I was Chris Major, I would feel pretty good about it.
1st and 10 to go, Eskimos. Now at the BC 41. Ham over the middle. Ellis again, and he's down to the 20. Lolo James, number 32, put the stop on Craig Ellis.
Craig Ellis does such a good job in the zone. Watch to the right side of your screen now. There's a big hole right between Robin Belanger and the linebackers. Watch Ellis work back to the left, back into that seam. Tracy Ham sees it. Good protection up front, and Craig Ellis with his second catch, and they've got a nice drive going.
20 yards the gain. It is 1st and 10. Edmonton at the BC 21 now. Ham goes to the end zone. Touchdown. David Williams. And that's his first touchdown as an Eskimo. Tracy Ham can put points on the board in a hurry.
Well, that's a great drive, but you know what? Norman Jefferson makes the cardinal error. Ham rolling to the wide side of the field, throwing back to the backside, and when you're the backside corner, you can't allow that wide receiver to sneak inside on the post. You have to take away his inside. Norman Jefferson didn't do it. 21 yards later, David Williams has his first touchdown of the year. But when you're that corner and you don't have help in the middle, you better shield him off from the post. He didn't do it.
McAreedy adds the extra points, and the Eskimos lead the BC Lions 10-0 in the second quarter. David Williams, a former BC Lion, happy for a trip back to BC Place to score a touchdown for his new team, the Eskimos.
Yeah, nice to see a smile on his face. You know, last year was not a fun year for him in Ottawa, only 61 receptions, and how about Tracy Ham? He likes doing that too. 6 touchdown pass of the year for him. David Williams, you know, he'd only caught 5 balls coming into this game, and I thought, you know, he's the kind of guy that after a couple of games, only 5 catches, he can get a little cranky. But tonight they've used him a lot early. I think that was his 3rd catch of the night, and picks up his first touchdown, and he's smiling again. I like to see that.
They keep lining up from that, Jack.
The Eskimos are trying to spread the football around to all of their receivers a little bit more this year. That's why they ended up coming up with 2 new wide receivers in Sandusky and David Williams. They had no complaints about Craig Ellis catching 106 passes last year, but they wanted to spread it around a little bit and avoid double coverage on Ellis.
You know, it's funny you should mention that. Craig Ellis said the same thing to me, and he is very unselfish. He said, I would prefer to catch 65 and have everybody else catch 65. Balance it around. It makes it better. It's a healthier situation.
And it's a lot tougher for the other defenses to work against.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Ready for the Eskimo kickoff with Edmonton leading BC 10-0 early in the second quarter at BC Place. Alexander, or rather Etheridge, number 86. An 11-yard return, and he was surrounded by Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, about 8 yards out of bounds, too.
Mike McLean was there, and Dan Murphy as well.
2 big gains to Craig Ellis, capped off by the 21-yard touchdown reception by David Williams as Edmonton mounts the first touchdown scoring drive of the football game.
Well, let's see what the Lions can do with a first down beginning on this drive. Back at the 21. Make it the 26. Volpe. Is there room to the far side? He gets away from a couple of tacklers, and Volpe turns it into a decent run. Enos Jackson finally forcing him out. 12-yard gain. Should have been stopped sooner.
Yeah, he's a tough guy to bring down, though. You know, he's only 5'7", but he's 195 pounds, and all that weight is upper body strength. And as you'll see right here, the tackle, Enos Jackson, David Shelton gets the first hit. He spins off. Enos Jackson. He is a tough guy to bring down. That center of gravity, wow.
Alexander makes the catch in front of Mark Mathis. 8 yards for Alexander. Flag on the field. Another penalty going against the Lions.
Illegal procedure. No end on the line of scrimmage. BC, first down repeated.
Well, that time Alexander moved into a slot back position, and between himself and Jay Christensen on that far side, one of them has to be up on the line of scrimmage. They weren't. David Ewell and his staff made the call.
So Flutie faces 1st and 15. Back now at the 35. Flutie unloads in a hurry for Chris Skinner, and he's caught almost immediately at the 35 by Willie Pless, number 39. Leroy Blue also in the vicinity.
Third time tonight they tried to run the screen to Chris Skinner, and Larry Ruck with the good pressure initially. Flutie gets the pass off, but 39 Willie Pless read it. I mean, they've seen it 3 times. He says, you can't fool me 3 times, and he was right there, made the play, and they picked up a couple, but not exactly what they wanted.
Actually, 2nd and 14 as Bass chases Flutie this time. Flutie gets away from him, and Ruck tipped the pass that was intended for Etheridge, I believe.
You know, I call Larry Ruck the unsung hero of that defense. You know, you always hear about the Danny Basses and now the Willie Plesses since he's come over, Toaster Williams and a host of other guys, but Larry Ruck, week after week, game after game, year after year, he's been with them for 8 years, is a solid linebacker. He's had an all-star season a couple of years ago, and he made back-to-back 2 great plays on defense.
Forcing the Lions and Lou Pasaglia into a punting situation. Henry Williams waits for it. Near the 25 now. They've had him well covered tonight. Not much running room for the Gizmo. Jamie Terrace leading the Lion tacklers, number 74.
Next week we'll be at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton, and we'll have the CFL report for you at 9 o'clock Eastern time, and that's followed by football. The Eskimos take on the Saskatchewan Roughriders, and that game comes your way at 9:30 Eastern time, 7:30 local, as the Eskimos take on the Green Riders.
Jamie Terrace is a former slot back and a former running back with the BC Lions. Now he's wearing number 60 or number 74 as a special teams player and backup offensive lineman. And here he is in action.
Yeah, he put a nice hit on Henry the Gizmo Williams there, and the BC Lions know that they really have to stay in their lanes when they're covering those kicks tonight. The Giz had an outstanding week last week, and they certainly don't want that to happen to them.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos at the 31. Edmonton leading 10-0. Doug Hocking on Tony Cherry. Cherry is the designated import tonight, but Ron Lancaster said that he was going to use him to spell off Reggie Taylor at times. 2nd and 12, and Hand gets away from some pressure, finding Blake Marshall, and Marshall puts his head down to go for the first down. Malonge forcing Marshall out, and that's a bit of a mismatch, isn't it?
I would think that's a great mismatch, and Tracy Ham did a nice job to get away from the pressure. Dietrich Wise, number 78, had them all tied up, but Ham broke the tackle and finally found Big Blake along the sidelines, and he rambles for an Edmonton first down.
From the 48 now. Ham to the left side with room to run. Good move to come up with a first down. I thought he was going to step out, but he's very close to the first down in front of Norman Jefferson.
Well, the matchup we're watching tonight, and Chris Major hot in pursuit. Jim Sandusky across the field. Coverage forcing Tracy Ham to run, but what the BC Lions have to do now is keep containment on their end. That's the matchup, of course, we'll follow tonight, but BC Lions are making it too easy for Tracy Ham to get outside that pocket. I know it's often easier said than done, but he is only dangerous when he gets outside the pocket. The 2 ends, Stu Hill and Dietrich Wise, they have to make sure he stays in there.
Ham did get the first down. And from the 52-yard line now. More pressure on Ham by Joseph, but he'll outrun him easily. And he coasts to another first down. Leaf, why is that happening?
Well, Stuart Hill took the inside again. He was working against Trevor Bowles, the right tackle, and Stu Hill made the inside move. Bowles caved him down. You'll see it at the left of your screen. Watch 36. Now he cuts back to the inside. He's dead in the water. Tracy Ham can outrun Lloyd Joseph all day long, and just as I indicated, if they don't get that outside leverage, Tracy Ham will kill him.
Looked like a walk in the park on that particular play.
Yeah, it was. Well, the coverage is there, but if Tracy Ham's going to run, pick up first downs, it really won't matter.
Tony Cherry on first down. Stuart Hill and Nico Perkins, number 36 and 37.
Tony Cherry bounced around the Canadian Football League a little bit. Began his career right here with the BC Lions and went to the Ottawa Rough Riders, and now ending up in the Edmonton Eskimo lineup. Talking about bouncing around. He's a little bouncing right there.
He gained 2. This is 2nd and 8 at the BC 35. Ham looks to the end zone. Jefferson covering on Williams. Jefferson wins.
Yeah, he does. You know, he got burned on the touchdown because he didn't have good position on David Williams. That time he has perfect position on David Williams. Stays right on his inside hip, will not let him work to the middle of the field to try and adjust to that football, and then the last second, of course, he goes up and knocked it away. He didn't get a great look at it there, but you know, that time he had good position on Williams and made the play.
Ray McAreedy 1 for 1 so far tonight. This from the 42-yard line, and this one is wide. Belanger concedes the single points, so the Eskimos add 1 more to their total. And it's time for the BC Lion offense to move the football. Edmonton leading 11-0, second quarter.
1985 in Montreal. Roy DeWalt in the Grey Cup game hooks up with Jim Sandusky for the touchdown that covers 66 yards. The Lions won the CFL championship that year. 3 years later, the game was played in Ottawa. This time, Matt Dunningham was doing the throwing and David Williams was doing the receiving. But the Lions lost that year's Grey Cup game.
They lost to the Winnipeg Blue Bombers late in the game at Lansdowne. David Williams has been around since then, to Ottawa last year, and this year he's turned up with the Edmonton Eskimos. Sandusky's been traveling too.
Well, you know, he was in the BC Lions for 3 good years, and Edmonton, went to Seattle for a couple, now back with Edmonton.
The Lions offense has looked a little flat so far tonight. Let's see if Flutie can engineer something here with a first down. BC at the 35. Flutie with time to throw. Christensen has a first down out across the 45 to about the 48 in front of Mark Mathis.
First catch of the year for Jay Christensen, 12 yards. He's been out the last couple of games with a hamstring injury, and now they're slowly working him back into the lineup. Had a great year last year. There you see his numbers, over 1,000 yards, and they're happy to have him back and healthy.
Flutie on first down. Christensen again, and he is inside the 35. Doesn't take much to move this BC Lion football team.
No, I tell you, now when you got the receivers working hard like Jay Christensen is, 23-yard reception, you'll see it coming to the left of your screen. Throwback. He runs the corner on Enos Jackson, turns him right around. Beautiful pass pattern. Nice throw, and boy, it's good to have him back.
First down for the Lions at the 32. Volpe, top from behind and from underneath. Mike Walker was there, and so was Willie Pless.
Good block by Jay Christensen there, sealing off Leroy Blue, so he not only helping out with a couple of catches on this drive. Nice block. Well, he can do it, you know. He's a good size, old Jay. 6'4", 215, great target inside, and boy, you can never have enough Canadian depth. And now with young Matt Clark, the slot back, playing well, and you got Jay Christensen, and you throw in a rookie and Mike Trevathan. He's an import, but the good Canadian depth, and that was always a trademark of Bob Obilovich when he coached the Toronto Argonauts for so many years. It seemed like when the Argos had great teams, They had great Canadian depth.
John Volpe, the rookie runner from Stanford, slightly shaken up, but it looks like he'll be back. His gain is 5 yards. It'll be 2nd and 5 for the Lions. At the Eskimo 27, this is the best drive the Lions have mustered so far tonight. Flutie to throw. If he gets it away, he does to Skinner. A little shovel pass. And Skinner takes off with flags on the field. Skinner could score. No, he's out at the 2. David Shelton forcing Skinner out, but we'll have to wait and see here.
Well, there was movement, and the BC Lions finally get a break as the Edmonton Eskimos jump offside, and Chris Skinner with a beautiful run. Yeah, Obi's nodding now. Hey, we got a break.
Edmonton
Got the
number
right
89.
call. What a good job by Flutie, though. Watch how he waits just till the last second and then flips the ball to Skinner. Good block coming up. Rocco Romano right there, and then number 77, Mike Trevathan, unloads on Larry Ruck, and boy, to make things happen, you have to have the guys blocking up front for you. They did a nice job on that screen.
Touchdown! Flutie on target to Raymond Etheridge. Etheridge has his first CFL touchdown. The Lions are right back in the thick of this battle at BC Place.
Guess who he was working on? The newcomer, Eddie Thomas. There it is. Thomas, a cardinal mistake on the goal line, letting the wide receiver get to the inside. Usually you're in blitz man-to-man coverage. You will not get any help to the post. He didn't. And Ray Etheridge, in his first game as a pro, scores his first touchdown. That's a great drive.
Lou Pasaglia adds the single point. Flutie's reaction. All right.
Yeah, you bet.
Good drive.
5th touchdown pass of the year for Doug Flutie. And he has his team right back in this one. The BC Lions cap off a beautiful drive. Jay Christensen, a couple of nice catches. Chris Skinner on the screen, and then Raymond Etheridge on the quick post for the touchdown.
So it's a 4-point ball game. The Lions trailing the Eskimos 11-7. And after a slow start, Flutie looked very impressive on that drive.
Well, you know what I like about him this year over last year? He looks relaxed out there. I mean, he looks like he's enjoying himself. Last year was such a learning experience in this league, and I don't think he did things as naturally as he's certainly doing them this year.
I guess the same could be said for a lot of young quarterbacks coming up and taking a crack at this game. A lot of guys don't get 2 years, or at least a year and a little bit, to learn the game.
Well, it's tough. You know, the field's different. The extra defensive back is different. The zone lanes are different, as Doug Flutie explained in the opening. So it does take a lot of hard work and a lot of understanding to figure out how to attack a defense up here. I think he's learned quickly.
Julio Caravana set for another kickoff drive. He is the 3rd string quarterback for the BC Lions. Gizmo Williams out across the 35 to the 38. Stopped by Andrew Thomas. Better return for the Giz that time, 18 yards.
Doug Flutie did some nifty scrambling on that drive, which covered 75 yards in 5 plays. The big gain was to Chris Skinner, and then the 7-yard touchdown reception by Raymond Etheridge gets the Lions on the board.
And Flutie did it quickly. 1:44 time of possession for the BC Lions, but the Eskimos have the ball now with a first down at the Edmonton 48. And Tracy Ham has looked very sharp tonight, but this isn't Ham at quarterback. This is Warren Jones getting a little bit of action. Ham is number 8. Jones is number 6. Jones had 33 completions in 55 tries for 390 yards last year. 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. For Blake Marshall. On 1st and 15, Marshall gets about half the necessary yardage. Lolo James stopped Blake Marshall that time.
Well, at 6'2" and 200 pounds, Warren Jones, the quarterback, has a great arm, and Marshall just quickly out in the flat, the recipient of that real bullet. Lolo James up there to make the hit, but nice setup and good delivery by Warren Jones.
The Eskimos get 7. This will be 2nd and 8. Jones steps up. Same call. Blake Marshall. Does he have the first down this time? Doug Hocking was over to force Marshall out. Now, Lancaster told me before the game that he was going to use Warren Jones. I didn't think that we'd see him quite this early in the ball game with Ham doing so well. But he wants to get him some action.
First gamble of the night.
3rd and 1. Not a big gamble for the Eskimos at this stage of things. They're across midfield into BC territory, and it's a short yard. Particularly short when you give it to Blake Marshall, and he easily grabs about 5.
It's almost impossible to stop Blake Marshall when he's got that big offensive line obviously in front of him, but then his great size at 6'1", 220. You have a great look at it here. Good lead block from Michael Souls. And they picked that up with no trouble at all. Warren Jones, a good rushing quarterback at the University of Hawaii. I mean, his talents fit this game perfectly. It's kind of fun to watch a new guy perform.
Some similar styles to Tracy Ham. 1st and 10 for the Eskimos at the BC 49. Reggie Taylor makes the catch coming out of the backfield. O.J. Brigance makes the tackle for the Lions.
Well, you know what I like about Warren Jones already? I mean, he's completed 3 passes, and I think the longest one has been about 5 yards downfield, and those are the kind of momentum passes that keep drives going. And I think he has learned something in his young career watching from the sidelines, that you can move the ball throwing it short in a hurry.
A gain of 9. This is 2nd and 1. Almost a free down for the Eskimos. Marshall has the first down, and he's down to the 35. Ken Petway and Mark Jones leading the tacklers for BC.
Does he not remind you of Larry Zonka in his heyday? I mean, Zonka made his own holes, and Marshall's the same kind of runner. You know, he puts that head down, and if there's not a hole there, he can create one in a hurry.
.304 to go, 2nd quarter. And got a pause in the action here at the stadium at BC Place with the Edmonton Eskimos leading the BC Lions 11-7.
Well, a lot of mystery on the Eskimo sideline. There's nothing medically wrong with Tracy Ham. They've just decided to go with Warren Jones. Ham is trying to be supportive, but he had kind of a quizzical look on his face as Jones was running the drive, and a couple of times he shot glances over to Ron Lancaster, even put his helmet on. But right now it's Jones in charge with a healthy Tracy Ham on the sidelines.
Now, do you think it's all the injuries that Lancaster faced last week that he wants to get a few of the backup troops a little more ready for regular CFL action? He's put Cherry into the ball game and as a runner. Now he's going with Warren Jones as his quarterback with the lead. 3 minutes and 4 seconds till halftime, with the Eskimos leading the Lions by 4.
You know, John, you make a good point about Lancaster wanting to give other people opportunities to play because of the injury situation. You know, when he stopped quarterbacking in Regina, nobody else got any playing time, and you know, we really suffered through a few years because we had no other quarterbacks with experience. And you know, I wouldn't be surprised if he's thinking back to those days, and he wants his young guy to get a little playing time, and he looks good so far.
1st and 10 for Warren Jones and the Eskimos, and David Williams makes another catch in the near sidelines. It should be another Edmonton first down. So Jones has looked very impressive coming in here in a relief appearance.
Yeah, I'll tell you who's looked impressive too is David Williams. 4th catch of the night for him, and you know, he's the kind of receiver, you get him involved early and get his attention, and you've got him for the whole night. But if you leave him alone and don't get to him in the first half, he can kind of just drift away on you. But tonight he is involved.
The Eskimo march continues with a first down at the BC 25. Reggie Taylor lost the football, and I think the BC Lions might have come up with it. Nico Perkins.
So a big break for the BC Lions as they get the turnover, and a huge hole was opened up for Reggie Taylor to go through, but the ball was just stripped at the last second. I believe it was number 79, Derek McCready, and Nico Perkins, playing his first game starting, comes up with a nice fumble recovery. There he is. Been around with the club for a couple of seasons. Only played a couple of games last year, but gets his first start tonight.
So with 2:22 to the half, the Lions take over with a first down beginning at the 14. Volpe is back in action. Stopped by Dan Bass.
Who else? Leading tackler on the club after 2 games. Danny Bass, 14 tackles coming into tonight's action. I like John Volpe, though. Boy, he is the prototype back up here. It seems like every back now is on the short side. Good upper body strength, and you know, they sneak and hide in behind those big offensive linemen now. He's a tough guy to find sometimes.
He towers over Reggie Taylor.
Yeah.
Taylor is 5'6", Volpe 5'7". This is 2nd and 6. Through the off target for Chris Skinner. They were kidding Doug Flutie about having Volpe in the backfield out here. Just the fact that he finally had a running back that he could hand off to without standing on his tiptoes.
Yeah, well, I mean, he towers over him, too. He's got an inch on Volpe. He's 5'10", Volpe 5'9", of course. But Obi's come up with some pretty good-looking rookies in that lineup.
On 3rd and 6, Lou Pasaglia steps across his 5 to get this kick away. And the Gizmo waits at center field. Here comes Henry Williams. Best return of the night. Lorenzo Graham, number 28 for the Lions, made the stop on the Gizmo that time. And that could be a big run for the Eskimos with 1:44 to go till halftime.
Watch how the Edmonton Eskimos hold all the BC players up at the line of scrimmage. You know, often it's not how fast you get back for the return, it's how well you hold the cover team up at the line of scrimmage. And you know, the Giz had 15 yards before the first tackler got near them, so they did a good job holding all the guys up front.
So the Eskimos with a first down now. Inside the BC 30. Ham is back at quarterback. End zone toss for David Williams, and it's behind the receiver. Tracy got a little pressure that time from Dietrich Wise.
Yeah, he did. It seemed like he didn't really know what David Williams was going to do. He was kind of waiting and waiting and waiting. Then finally he said, boy, the pressure's coming. I better unload. And Williams, of course, by that point was too far downfield. It looked like Tracy was waiting for him to stop up on a hook pattern, but Williams just kept on going.
Now 1:38 till halftime.
BC's been close on the pressure, but they really haven't been able to sack him tonight.
2nd and 10 Eskimos. Another touchdown toss, this for Jim Sandusky, and that too off target.
Perfect coverage by number 13, Chris Major. Of course, that is the matchup we are featuring tonight. Jim Sandusky, Chris Major, and Sandusky on the post, but Chris Major right on the hip. Watch this now. Sandusky's going to make his break, and there's Major, the good speed turn. He's in position if that ball is underthrown to make the interception. It's good coverage.
Now, Sandusky has made a couple of catches in front of Major tonight, but he didn't get to that one.
Well, you know, if you're a corner and you don't get beaten deep in a game and you give up a few things underneath, well, hey, that's great. I mean, you can't expect to shut down a guy like Sandusky completely.
McCready's field goal is good with 1:29 to go in the opening half.
Coming up at the half, we'll go back to our TSN Control Center for a sports update. We'll have part 2 of a day in the life of an official between the lines. We'll look at what they do during the game. And John and Leaf will be back with their first half analysis.
Eskimos in front by a touchdown now. David Williams has had a pretty good night for Edmonton so far with one touchdown, a couple of other catches. And as Leaf mentioned, he is very much involved in the Eskimo offense in the first half.
Yeah, he looks happy tonight, and that's a good sign.
This is the newcomer for the Lions, Raymond Etheridge, number 86. They say he has terrific speed. He didn't get a chance to show it off there. A 19-yard return.
Well, he must have terrific speed if he beat the Rocket in a 100-yard race in high school.
I guess that's a year or two ago. I wonder if the Rocket speed came later.
We're talking, 4 or 5 years ago.
Rocket likely doesn't even remember it, but Etheridge would.
Rocket probably thinks he was lucky.
A minute 22 to go. Still a little time for Doug Flutie to engineer a drive and get a little bit closer.
Yeah, you saw Mark Mathis on the sidelines. Got a pulled groin muscle, rather. And they're going to reevaluate that at halftime. So another injury in that secondary, and they've had to make some adjustments. We will tell you how they've adjusted.
Etheridge makes the catch just a little short of the first down. Good toss by Doug Flutie. Enos Jackson was covering that time.
Yeah, Trent Brown now comes into the middle safety spot, and they put Mark Norman at halfback. I think this secondary is a little vulnerable now.
Gain of 7, 2nd and 3. The Lions with a minute and 11 seconds to go till halftime. Volpe, and he cracks a good one out across the 50 for a first down. Stopped by Willie Pless and by Larry Ruck.
A good surge by the offensive line of the BC Lions. They push back that front three of the Edmonton Eskimos, and John Volpe with some good hard running picks his lane, gets up, picks up that first down, and Doug Flutie once again has something going.
Flutie on first down. Etheridge couldn't hang on that time. Trent Brown, number 28, was with him.
Yeah, and when he met the eyes of number 29, Enos Jackson, his eyes did not stay on the football. You're going to see it right here, left of your screen. Watch the head. Sees the hit coming, and the good cover underneath. Enos Jackson knocks it away. Trent Brown signed as a free agent from the University of Alberta. He is in the middle safety spot right now with the injury to Mark Mathis. They've had to shuffle the deck a bit.
On 2nd and 10, Flutie swings it out for Chris Skinner. And Skinner didn't have quite enough speed to get around the corner. Leroy Blue tracked him down. So 46 seconds till the half, and the Lions come up a little short on this drive. They might have been adding points if Etheridge had have held on to the football. Eskimos will take a brief timeout here with 46 seconds till the half.
You know, last week against the Winnipeg Blue Bombers, the BC Lions faced much the same situation. They faced the Bombers, who had trouble with injuries in the defensive backfield. In fact, at one point, Winnipeg had linebacker Greg Battle playing safety. But BC couldn't take advantage of it. And after the game, they were saying the next time that situation came up, they tried to. But here they are again, and they were unable to do it again.
Lou Pasaglia set to kick it away. And the Gizmo receives at the 15. Fired up again. He lost the ball. And the Lions may have recovered. Hang on. Derek McCready had an opportunity. The Eskimos get it back. And guess who got it? Dan Bass.
Yeah, he did. Good opening initially for the Giz, and the ball is stripped loose. Good hit causes the fumble, but luckily Danny Bass was around to make the recovery, and the Eskimos kind of dodge a bullet there.
It would have been an easy 3 for the BC Lions in that kind of field position. Edmonton leading 14-7. 30 seconds to go till the half. There's Blake Marshall. He's been a workhorse tonight. Dietrich Wise slowing Marshall down there. 29 seconds till the half.
Marshall's the kind of guy that if they were, you know, playing on grass fields all throughout the CFL, he's the kind of guy that would definitely have a dirty uniform at the end of the night. I mean, like, he likes to get down and dirty. He would much rather run over a guy through him than run around him.
Reggie Taylor this time, and Taylor is tough to bring down. He's out to the 55 with 9 seconds to go. Belanger was in on the tackle leaf, and O.J. Brigance.
You know, they looked like they were just going to run the clock out, but now really they're one pass play away from giving Ray McAreedy a chance.
7 seconds to go. Tracy Ham. And that one is well out of bounds, intended for Craig Ellis. But no flags are down, and that will end the opening half at the stadium at BC Place, with the Edmonton Eskimos leading the BC Lions 14-7. Halftime is coming up. We'll be right back.
Halftime at BC Place, where the Eskimos lead the Lions by a touchdown after 30 minutes. Last night on Between the Lines, we showed you what an officiating crew does leading up to the night of a game. Tonight on Between the Lines, we take you to the game itself with the crew of Ken Lazaruk last week at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton.
You're the visiting team. Who's going to call it here in the air? You're going to call it in the air?
Heads.
Heads.
As in filling them with air and then tying the balloon off.
Tails it is.
We have a couple of minutes or so till kick.
Pardon me? You'll defer. You have choice.
When the kicker contacts the ball.
You'll take this end. So you'll take this end. You'll receive the ball. What would you like? Now they can do that.
What are they doing?
They're receiving the ball. It's your choice of ends.
But we hope you came early enough to enjoy the picnic in the park over at Ford Stadium. An event created by major sponsors such as Canada Safeway, Pepsi, and UMA Dairies. A reminder.
Good game, gentlemen.
Basically, I'm just keeping the game going at all times, and I control that clock. I have to start it on time, and hopefully I have to end it before it gets too long.
Mr. Stay rough is Edmonton 22, sir.
What number?
22. The ball is already dead.
32?
22.
22. Ball's already dead. Okay. We're going up 15, okay? Right from here.
I'm responsible for running the game, the flow of the game. I do the adjudication of the penalties, application, interpretation. I'll settle any disputes that might be on the field if there's a question between officials. I have the last say in it all.
You're not a captain. Tracy! Go. Tracy!
We're going to keep the points.
Going to keep the points?
He's going to make the decision right here. What I get? Right here.
Okay, you get the following. You either take the 3 points, or you take a third down over 5 yards forward, be about third and about 4. Third and about 4.
Take the 3 points.
Take the point.
Take the point. Hey, take the point.
Offside. Ottawa number 1. Decline. Field goal stands.
You have to be, I would say, thick-skinned. You certainly have to be knowledgeable and flexible. You have to be sort of easygoing. You can't be mechanical. You have to be adaptive. You have to be able to get along with people.
Okay, take your time. We're in a timeout. Mr. Ham!
Well, if Don Cherry can do it, so can you. Pro-Line Sports Select.
We're in a commercial timeout now, too, okay? Give the big guys, old guys a rest.
Hurry up, Craig.
Pro-Line Sports.
I will continue as long as I enjoy it, and I'm enjoying it. I've been in, this is my 15th year, and physically I feel good, mentally I feel good. The guys around me I enjoy working with. I enjoy working with my supervisors. The players are, for the most part, are terrific to be with, and I've gotten to know more and more people, and I enjoy it. I hope that I realize myself that once I'm not enjoying it anymore, then it's time to get out. I think I will.
Halftime in Vancouver, where Edmonton leads leads BC 14-7. Kind of an unusual first half that saw the starting quarterback of the team in the lead pulled out of the ball game, but while Tracy Ham was in, he did have some success. And for their analysis of the first half, let's go now to John Wells and Lee Pedersen.
I thought we might see a little more offense in this ball game, the way that Flutie and Ham had been performing earlier this season.
Yeah, I agree with you. Doug Flutie, back-to-back 400-yard-plus passing games, and Tracy Ham in full command of his offense. Only 14-7, but we did have some pretty good plays.
Here's David Williams at work.
Yeah, you know, Norman Jefferson committed the cardinal sin when you have got no help in the middle of the field. You know, you have to close off that receiver, and he didn't.
And Tracy Ham was celebrating.
Yeah,
right.
He was. David Williams scored early.
Here's the newcomer with his first ever CFL touchdown.
Raymond Etheridge, lots of speed, gets inside the newcomer Eddie Thomas on the corner, and BC Lions found themselves right back in the ballgame.
And the matchup we're following, Chris Major versus Jim Sandusky.
Well, I think you can flip a coin on this one. Chris Major has allowed Sandusky to catch a few passes in the first half. Sandusky, 3 catches for 43 yards, but here, great technique as Sandusky works to the post. Major right there on the hip. Had the ball been in there, he could have made the play. And once again, he's right there, so I have to call this one a draw at halftime. What do you think?
Well, despite the fact that Sandusky caught 3 for 43, none were in really dangerous territory or set anything up.
Little stuff.
All right.
If he ended up with 6 for 86 and doubled that, I think Chris Major would say, hey, I had a great night. So we'll see how that matchup materializes.
Well, it's 14-7 at halftime at BC Place with the Edmonton Eskimos in front of the BC Lions. Lots more football ahead, and we expect a wide open second half coming up here tonight. The BC Lions and the Edmonton Eskimos are game of the week on TSN. Second half kickoff coming up in just a moment. Back to the stadium at BC Place just in time for the Eskimo kickoff. Ray McAreedy. Etheridge, and Graham had difficulty with it. This is Etheridge on the return, and as a result, not much of a return.
Statistics after one half brought to you by GM. Edmonton with the edge in every category, including time of possession and net yards, 293 to 171. One more note, Mark Mathis remains in the Edmonton dressing room. They've got him on an electrostimulator to try to numb the pain in his groin, but right now he's not back, so Edmonton is still thin in the defensive backfield.
Here comes Doug Flutie leading the BC Lions down by a touchdown. The Lions with a first down at the BC 30. Flutie buys some time to throw it over the middle. No catch. Leroy Blue was covering. And Skinner was the intended receiver.
Well, John Volpe, when he's not running or out in a pass pattern, he has to help try and protect his quarterback, Doug Flutie, and I think he did a pretty good job there on the blitzing Larry Ruck. One of the 2 outside linebackers of the Edmonton Eskimos will come on every play, either Larry Ruck or Leroy Blue, and when they do, sometimes it's the responsibility of the running back.
Flutie from the shotgun on 2nd and 10. Far side, underthrown, and no catch. Matt Clark, number 85, the intended receiver.
That's too bad. Doug Flutie had him wide open, but that was a pretty long throw for Flutie. I mean, he's got a good arm, but he certainly doesn't have a cannon back there, and you had a little bit of pressure in his face at the same time, and he just couldn't get enough mustard on this one to complete it. Good hit by Mike Walker, 61.
So quickly, the Lions are into a kicking situation. Lou Pasaglia from his 15. And Henry Williams keeps it. No, he doesn't. Can't keep it in bounds. Good kick by Pasaglia. Williams argues the call, but not for long.
Now, that's a great kick by Louis Pasaglia. Anytime you can get maximum distance with no return, I mean, you can't do it any better. They would like to eliminate the gizmo on his returns. 41-yard punt, 0 on the return. That's a good net.
The Eskimos still have decent field position beginning this drive at the 40. Edmonton leading 14-7. And it is Tracy Ham back at quarterback. 10 of 16 for 164 and 1 TD. Flags are down. There was early movement. Ham for Blake Marshall. Marshall breaks one tackle. He's still going and will have a first down if the penalty is not against the Eskimos. Mark Jones, number 43, leading the tacklers for BC. .13:32 to play, third quarter just underway.
Offside. BC number 78. Decline. First down.
So it will be an Eskimo first down. Edmonton out across the 50 to the 51. Reggie Taylor. And Taylor is stacked up. Mark Jones is there, number 43, along with Doug Hocking. BC's new middle linebacker, a rookie, playing not badly.
Oh, he's doing a pretty good job. He's a young junior player from the Surrey Rams. Now, Mark Jones with the initial hit, and Doug Hocking wraps him up. Blake Marshall, nice job on Stuart Hill. Watch how he seals him to the outside, had the back cut through that lane. Blake Marshall would have provided a good block. He had the angle.
Gain of 2. This is 2nd and 8. And a great catch over the middle. Marco Sincar's first of the night.
First of the year.
Nico Perkins. Yes, his first game for the Eskimos in 1991.
I'm not quite sure what happened to him. If he was released after camp or practice roster, he just kind of wasn't around for a few games. But they brought him back. Jordan Gartner, the young receiver, just did not pan out, so they thought, well, we'll bring some experience back and get him in the lineup. Those were his numbers 1 year ago.
He had a rib injury during training camp and originally was on the practice roster, according to the Eskimos. This is Reggie Taylor, and Taylor is tough to bring down. Great run by Taylor as he gets inside the 25. And the middle linebacker Hocking over to make the stop after a 24-yard gain.
That is a run very similar to the kind of runs we saw in 1989 when Reggie Taylor went over the 1,500-yard mark and, of course, led the CFL that year. Huge hole on the left side. Blake Dermott, Mike Dirks providing blocking, and Reggie Taylor providing some good acceleration through that hole.
And look where the Eskimos are. First down at the 23. Ham in trouble. And he got the pass away. Intended it for Sincar. There was no opportunity to complete it, and there's a flag down.
Now we'll see how they're going to call it. I can't believe they'll call grounding on this one. I mean, he had a couple of receivers in the area. We shall see how they sort it out. Roughing.
Another costly penalty will go against the BC Lions.
Stuart Hill was there and O.J. Brigance was there. We're going to have a look at Stu Hill. He has to take that outside position. I know he's double teamed and it's tough, but he has to stay out there and make sure Ham doesn't get to the outside. Let's see what happens to O.J. Brigance right at the end. You're going to see it. 57 will come back in your screen, and oh, I don't know about that. That's calling it pretty close.
I don't think Ham was out of bounds when Brigance,
I mean, we're
pushed him.
We're talking a little wee push. We're not talking intent to injure or anything there. And I really don't blame the fans for being upset with that one.
Here are the Eskimos. 1st and 10 at the BC 11. Tracy Ham, good fake. Nice pass. Touchdown. Blake Marshall. There's an Eskimo fan here. I knew we'd find one.
Blake Marshall showing some pretty nifty speed coming out of the backfield. Left side of your screen, quickly into the flat. Ham sees him right away, and O.J. Brigance cannot stay with him. He can't get out there quickly enough. And Blake Marshall has a touchdown on the receiving end of things. Usually he takes care of everything on the ground when they get close, this time through the air.
McEready adds the single point. And the Eskimos move out in front of the BC Lions by 2 touchdowns. It's 21-7 early in the 3rd. Blake Marshall has his 4th touchdown of a very young season.
First touchdown receiving, and the toughest thing for a young linebacker is to know the dimensions of this field. I mean, Marshall really had no trouble just getting right under the flat. He ran away from O.J. Brigance, and I know it's a tough job on the goal line, having to cover that back out of the backfield, but O.J. Brigant's a young rookie from Rice University. Just too much field to have to cover. Give Tracy Ham credit, though. I mean, he saw the matchup down there, and he did not hesitate. As soon as he saw it, he let the ball fly, and the result was a touchdown.
21-7, the Eskimos in front of the BC Lions. We're ready for an Edmonton kickoff from Ray McAreedy. Lorenzo Graham is deep. And this is Graham on the return. Out across the 35 to the 38. Stopped by Dan Murphy. 16-yard return. So the Lions have decent field position.
Edmonton scores the first time it gets the ball in the second half as Tracy Ham takes them 5 plays and 70 yards. And Blake Marshall, who's anxious to prove he can do more than score on 1-yard plunges, gets the 11-yard reception for the score.
1st and 10 for the Lions. Flutie begins at his own 37. Good fake. Christensen. He has some room. Out across midfield. He's to the Eskimo 50-yard line. Jay Christensen. Stopped by Trent Brown, number 28, with help from Michel Bourgeau.
You can't execute this play any better. The screen's a big part of the BC offense. If Christensen fakes the block, the ruck steps out, and now he'll get a great block from the center, Ian St. Clair, right there on Danny Bass. That allows him to get some great yardage upfield.
And this is John Volpe on the run for the Lions. Another BC first down. David Shelton dragged down Volpe.
Well, you know, Flutie's thinking, we don't want to let this game get out of hand. 21-7. They've just scored a touchdown. It's about time we answered this with a march of our own. Back-to-back first downs.
Lions in a hurry-up offense after a 13-yard gain. Another BC first down. Flutie steps up. He'll carry himself. Around Enos Jackson, and Flutie has room as he steps out inside the 15. No flags anywhere. The play will stand, and what a great job by Doug Flutie.
Boy, you'll see just at the beginning of this run, he kind of kicks it into overdrive just to get away from a few tacklers. There he goes. It's into overdrive now, and deep downfield, he's going to get a block eventually from Ray Alexander. That lets him pick up about an extra 10 or 15 more yards.
He looked like he was going to step out just before that block, but instead he picks up 26 yards. And the Lions are at the Eskimo 14, first down. Flutie to the end zone. No touchdown. Matt Clark tried to keep his feet in bounds.
What a great effort by Matt Clark. He dove and extended himself as far as he could, and can get a look at it. Throwback, and he runs a great pass pattern. That's a good call. He was juggling the ball as he went down, and his arms touched out of bounds. Excellent call.
2nd and 10 Lions at the Eskimo 14. For Alexander, catch, touchdown. That's number 1 for Ray Alexander this season.
Well, the blitz is coming, and Enos Jackson allows Ray Alexander to get to the inside. There you see Mark Norman on the safety blitz, and when you're a corner and you're not going to have any help, we've seen this a few times tonight, you have to play the angles. You know, you have to be like a goaltender and know your angles on the field. Jackson let Alexander get inside, and with his height and size, he just shielded him off, and Flutie with the good throw.
It's now 21-14 as the Lions close within a touchdown. Ray Alexander gets the BC Lions right back in this ball game.
Now, I can't understand now on the goal line how you can allow a wide receiver to get to the inside. I mean, you know the blitz is coming, and you have no help, and I don't know, that's pretty easy for Alexander to get inside. You know, the sideline is your ally. Enos Jackson has to wall him off, and you see the reaction. Doug Flutie, he's happy. That's the 2nd touchdown he's thrown tonight.
No big celebration.
Yeah,
actually,
jumping
a little bit more.
Not that happy.
He's still down by a touchdown. Perhaps that's the case.
Pretty good drive, though, he put together.
Excellent drive. And he made a big play himself on the run, Lee.
It was. Jay Christensen, a nice one on the slot back screen. And they cap it off. The big thing is to answer the scoring drive of the Eskimos with one of their own. That's what you like to see.
Henry Williams on the return for the Eskimos. Always dangerous. Edmonton. Great field shape again. A 25-yard return out to the 45. Ryan Hansen leading the BC tacklers that time.
So, Tracy, it's your turn.
Let's see what you can do, Mr. Ham.
Yeah.
Officially, Flutie needs 4 yards to reach the 1,000-yard mark in passing, which isn't bad for 2.5 football games.
He'll do that in a hurry.
9:03 to play in the third quarter. A touchdown separates the Eskimos from the BC Lions. And the Lion defense comes up big. Mac McCready puts the stop on Reggie Taylor.
Doug Flutie's 26-yard scramble was the key play in the drive, which results in a touchdown and brings the BC Lions within 7. 5 plays, covers 72 yards, and takes under 2 minutes.
It is 2nd and 10 for the Eskimos at the 45. Ham looks to throw over the middle and on target. Craig Ellis. Ellis lost the ball. And the Lions start back. Ken Petway on the turnover, tackled by Jim Sandusky. Things are getting a little more lively here and having more fun. How about you?
Oh, yeah, I like this. BC Lion fans like it. I don't like the fact that Craig Ellis fumbled the football, but I mean, it's good if you like a close game. Ellis, no problem finding the open spot there. I mean, you know, either one of them could have caught this one. I don't know why they're so close together, but the ball is stripped loose. There's the hit.
Bounces right to Petway. So the Lions get it in good field position as well. Just shy of the 45. Good fake by Flutie on first down. Throw to the far side and on target. This is Chris Skinner. He is inside the 30. Willie Pless brings down Chris Skinner with a little help from Trent Brown. And that is a 35-yard gain for the BC Lions.
Great looking offensive play. They are making the the Edmonton secondary cover a huge field. I mean, when you roll to the wide side and throw all the way back across the field and complete the pass, you are really stretching that secondary out. And Chris Skinner with a great run after the catch.
From the 29, first down for the Lions. Flutie has it tipped at the line. Two quick touchdowns in the third quarter. One by the Eskimos. The Lions respond. And a turnover goes the way of Bob Obilovich's BC Lions.
I like the hurry-up offense, too. They've got momentum. They've got Edmonton on their heels, and just keep sticking it to them. Go with that hurry-up offense. Good call.
2nd and 10. Flutie looks to the corner. Has his man. Matt Clark.
What a catch.
Inside the 5.
The rookie from the University of Montana, the throwback, and watch how he reacts to the football. I believe it's Mark Norman on the coverage. He cannot make it. The catch is good for 27 yards, and Doug Flutie once again, he's got everything going his own way.
Great footwork by Clark to come down inbounds. 1st and goal to go. This drive started with a turnover. Flutie, the option play, Volpe, touchdown. Lions are close to even.
Well, it's a great play. Larry Ruck is in a huge bind there. If he goes to Volpe, Flutie will run it in. If he goes to Flutie, Flutie flips it out and Volpe runs it in. They make that option play look pretty easy. John Volpe, 2nd touchdown, 3rd touchdown. He's got one receiving, couple on the ground now. So 1 point away from a tie ball game.
And Lou Pasaglia has that point. Volpe has the touchdown. We're all even on the TSN Game of the Week. Following the game, our Turning Point, brought to you by Armor All.
So Old Mo has made a definite switch here tonight.
Mr. Momentum.
Mr. Momentum has just shown up on the BC Lions side of things. A little flip on the option, and John Volpe goes in untouched, and the BC Lions have found themselves back in a tie with the Edmonton Eskimos.
Looked a little bleak as the third quarter began, with the Eskimos marching for a touchdown and a 2-touchdown lead. But the Lions have responded with 2 of their own to tie the ball game. This is Cherry on the return for the Eskimos. Away from the first wave. But Cherry is finally stopped at the 44 after a 15-yard return, and he had to run about 45 to make 15.
The drive covered 66 yards. The big gains were by Chris Skinner for 35 and Matt Clark for 24, and John Volpe caps it off as BC gets right back in the ball game.
Two touchdowns by the BC Lions in 2 minutes and 40 seconds, and that's why Ron Lancaster has a worried look on his face. First down for the Eskimos. Ham hit from behind after he threw the ball. No flag and no catch. Norman Jefferson was covering.
He timed it perfectly and worked his way around David Williams. The pressure was coming, but Tracy Ham was certainly enough time to deliver a strike. Norman Jefferson timed it perfectly.
Second and 10 for the Eskimos at the 44. Crowd at BC Place has come to life. Tracy Ham, Craig Ellis, and that's a first down. Lolo James covering on Craig Ellis.
You talk about consistency. How about Craig Ellis? You know, 3 times in his 10-year career, he has led the CFL in rushing. And back in 1984, he did it as a running back with the Saskatchewan Roughriders, caught 91 passes. He did it in 1990 or 1985 with the Roughriders, again as a running back. He caught 102. What did he do last year? 3rd time he's led the league, had 106, set a new club record. Tonight again, Craig Ellis having a good night. 17 yards on that reception.
The injured BC Lion is Mark Jones, number 43. He was listed as a backup when this evening got underway. $17 yards the gain for Craig Ellis, and when Tracy Ham gets in trouble, he looks to Craig Ellis, doesn't he?
Craig is the security blanket. There's no question about that. It's been a good third quarter. Lots of action, lots of offense. Game started slowly. The first quarter kind of dragged a little bit. Edmonton with a 3-zip lead, but in the second and third quarters, both teams have picked it up, aided by a few turnovers, but a pretty exciting football game tonight.
5:51 to go, third quarter, and it's all even at BC Place. Mark Mathis was shaken up earlier, and
guess the stimulator didn't work.
No, he's got a groin problem. And although he's got his jersey on, the pads are off, at least for now. Ham will carry himself on 1st and 10, and Tracy Ham has another Eskimo first down to keep the drive rolling. Stopped by Stu Hill, number 36.
Well, both quarterbacks tonight have done a good job running the football. Doug Flutie to keep his drives going, and now Tracy Ham, who's had to do it a little more often than Flutie tonight, but very effectively here. Good acceleration, and well, you can see why year after year he is the leading rusher among quarterbacks in the CFL.
The Eskimos with a first down at the BC 35. Reggie Taylor, and Taylor gets down near the 30. Stu Hill there once more, along with O.J. Brigance. .441 remaining, third quarter, and it's all even, 21-21. On 2nd and 6. Ham in trouble. He gets away from the first pressure. That was Stu Hill. Still on the roll. And a catch by Reggie Taylor on the sidelines. That's why Tracy Ham is so dangerous all the time. A 19-yard game when it looked like Stu Hill had him nailed.
Now, that's unbelievable. And, you know, when you lose the contain, there you've lost it right there. Stuart Hill cannot make the sack. And, of course, that allows Tracy Ham. He will outrun the defensive lineman. That is not a problem. Reggie Taylor, a tremendous adjustment to the football. Nice diving catch. And this is why they are undefeated. I mean, they make the big plays at the critical times. And that was a great catch.
The Eskimos have marched to the BC 12-yard line. It is first down, Edmonton. Ham looking to the end zone. Sandusky. Jefferson covering, and there are flags down. Lolo James might be called.
And I think he'll be called for what they call face guarding. You'll hear Dave Ewell make the call, but we're going to have a great look at it. Sandusky working to the corner. And when you stick your hands up in that receiver's face and really don't turn to play the football, they'll call that one every time.
It was Lolo James actually covering on Sandusky that time. The penalty gives the Eskimos a first down. And goal to go at the BC 1. Blake Marshall stopped on the initial try, but he pulls his way into the end zone. So the Eskimos answer the touchdown by the BC Lions to take the lead once more.
Well, it's been great here in the third quarter. BC's had the ball twice. They've scored 2 touchdowns. Now the Eskimos have had 2 possessions, and they have scored twice. Blake Marshall with his 2nd touchdown of the night. The kind we've become more accustomed to, a 1-yard plunge and hammer away at it. So Blake Marshall with his 5th touchdown of a young season.
And his 4th touchdown rushing. Ray McAreedy gives the Eskimos the lead by a touchdown once more. Blake Marshall has 2 tonight, and the Eskimos have the lead at 28-21. Well, Blake Marshall has given the Eskimos the lead, but Tracy Ham engineered a terrific drive. And by the time it was all over, Marshall just needed to go in from the 1-yard line. The Eskimos in front, 28-21. The Happy Western grad celebrates on the sidelines.
You know, you look at the game and you try to figure out what the difference in the game might be. I think up to this point, although, you know, Doug Flutie's had a good night, I think the difference is the running ability of Tracy Ham. Time and time again, he's been able to buy himself some extra time to find receivers or run with the football. And of course, that sets up these easy opportunities from the 1-yard line, and not too many times will you ever see big Blake Marshall stop from that point.
Actually, the key to keeping that drive alive was the reception by Reggie Taylor when Ham had to scramble for time. Stu Hill was all over him. He escaped, fired down the sidelines, and a great catch by Reggie Taylor.
You know, it's simple, John. The good teams make their own breaks. They come up with the big play at the right time. And, of course, you know, they may look back on this game and say, hey, that Reggie Taylor catch was the big play in the game for us.
3:33 to go, third quarter. The Lions try to get back to even. This is Lorenzo Graham. Good return going for Graham. He lost the ball. Out across the 43, and who's got it this time? It looks like the Lions have recovered. So a 23-yard return will stand for Lorenzo Graham.
Could you hear Obi's sigh of relief all the way up here, or what?
You could.
The heart nearly came through the BC crest on his shirt there.
Well, Doug Flutie had a great drive on his last opportunity. Let's see if he can get something going here and get the Lions back to even. Etheridge, far side, makes the catch, and he's out to the 45. Stopped by Eddie Thomas, number 17.
Tracy Ham directs a 5-play, 66-yard drive capped off by Blake Marshall. The 1-yard run for his 5th touchdown of the year. And these guys don't believe in chewing up the clock, do they, fellas?
3:07. A quick TD.
Typical CFL drive.
Gain of 4. This is 2nd and 6 for Flutie and the BC Lions. Near side this time, and Matt Clark makes the catch. Nice catch. He may be a yard short, thanks to a nice play by David Shelton covering number 19.
Boy, you have to be so impressed with this young receiver, Matt Clark, a rookie out of Montana. Great hands. He almost made a great catch in the end zone for a touchdown, just could not stay in bounds. But here, on a tough pass to catch over your shoulder, I mean, it's coming like a dart right on the line, and boy, he made it a tough one look very easy.
And he did get the first down. Coming into week 2, Matt Clark was the 2nd leading receiver in the CFL. 12 catches, 203 yards.
Well, he's added a few to that total tonight, and pretty gutsy young receiver. Likes to go across the middle.
From the 51, another BC first down. Flutie steps up and finds Clark once more. Enos Jackson on the tackle.
He's had some great coaching at university days. Watch how he works back to the football. Now he makes his break. He comes back about 3-4 yards and keeps that separation between himself and Enos Jackson. That is good coaching. I mean, he has been schooled properly, worked back to the quarterback, and he's making all that hard work in university pay off, and he's having a good rookie season. Well, you can tell the good young ones in a hurry. They just have the technique, and they work hard. They run hard against that man-to-man coverage, and he's going to be a good one. So is Mike Trevathan, the other rookie receiver that they have.
Now, Trevathan hasn't been used a great deal tonight.
Saving him for the 4th quarter.
I guess they might be. This will be 2nd and inches as the Lions look to keep this drive going with 2:03 to go, 3rd quarter.
Play action.
Nice call by Flutie.
All right. What a great play.
yards, Ray Alexander.
You know, I should have said it because I had a feeling they were going to do this. Flutie saw 1-and-1. Eddie Thomas out on a huge island. Nice matchup there. He leads Alexander perfectly and takes advantage of a short and inches situation to come up with a big play. And once again, here they go.
What a great play.
Yeah, it was.
A free one for the Lions. Let's see what Flutie does here. Straight ahead himself. He is inside the 10. Danny Bass, Michel Bourgeot making the stop on Flutie. Is Obi smiling yet?
He won't smile till after this one's over, but I like the style of Flutie. I mean, he is really keeping the Edmonton defense off balance. He's throwing the screens tonight. Of course, hit the post. The quarterback draws. I mean, he has used a wider range of pass and run plays.
First and goal. Christensen is inside the 5. Mark Norman, the safety, making the tackle. The gain is only 3 yards, so it's 2nd and goal to go now from the 5. Intending that for Alexander. Enos Jackson was covering.
That's great coverage by Enos Jackson. That time he took away the inside of Ray Alexander and was in perfect position to at least knock that pass away. John won't be having a pretty good night picking up the on-rushing lineman. And
boy, did he lay it to Mike Walker there.
Yeah, well, in all fairness to Mike, I mean, he was jumping over Leo Groenwagen at the same time, a little off balance, but when you're a little guy and you get to knock down those big guys, I think it feels pretty good.
The Lions drive will end at the 5 on a Lou Pasaglia field goal drive, and that is good. So the BC Lions cannot answer another Eskimo touchdown with 7 points, but they do come up with 3.
A lot minutes here in the third quarter. Doug Flutie and Tracy Ham both very, very comfortable running their teams tonight.
A lot of defense in the opening quarter. It was a very slow start to this evening. As you said, like a championship bout.
Yeah, it was. But now they're throwing the haymakers.
Flutie has tossed for 269 yards so far tonight. 5 seconds to go in the third quarter. The Eskimos in front, 28-24. And here comes the Gizmo. Another great run by Henry Williams. Look where the Eskimos begin. Ryan Hansen makes the tackle at the 50. A 31-yard return for Henry Williams. We have a penalty marker, however.
Holding, Edmonton number 30, first out.
Can that be right? Danny Bass?
No.
Holding. So that takes the Eskimos out of great field position and back to the 27th. Should be the last play of the third quarter. Ham couldn't get it through to Ellis. A good play by number 32, Lolo James. Third quarter is over, and the Eskimos hang on to a 4-point lead. A great second half in our TSN Game of the Week with the Eskimos and the BC Lions in a duel. It's a 4-pointer right now. Lots of scoring in the second half. Ready to begin the fourth quarter at BC Place. First and 10 for the Eskimos at the Edmonton 28. Tracy Ham can't find a receiver. Now looks deep for Taylor. Did that one bounce off Doug Hawking's hat?
Hit him right in the lid.
That's pretty good coverage for a Hawking all the way downfield with a running back like Taylor, isn't it?
Well, you bet it is. I mean, that is the test of a linebacker. Can he stay with a running back? And how about him? He stays with Reggie Taylor, turns around and takes it right in the forehead. But, well, boy, for a young linebacker, you know, he was with the Surrey Rams, the junior football team locally, and started practicing with the Lions late last fall. They liked what they saw. They invited him to training camp, and lo and behold, after 3 games, he is a starting middle linebacker.
He was not really expected to make the team. On the return for the Lions, Norman Jefferson, and he is out near the 52, stopped by Michael Souls, number 32, an 18-yard return after a 44-yard kick.
Third quarter statistics brought to you by General Motors, and a wide open third quarter brings BC almost dead even in the net yards category as well as time of possession, and Edmonton has turned the ball over twice while BC has yet to cough it up.
Net yards only 2 points separating.
Very entertaining game tonight.
14:07 to play, fourth quarter, as the Lions try and take the lead once more. Trailing by 4, Flutie, near side. Chris Skinner. Stopped by Dan Bass and Brett Williams.
Chris Skinner's had a nice night out of the backfield. 9-yard gain that time. Danny Bass coming all the way over from the middle to make the play, but they have been able to get some pretty good mileage out of Skinner.
Just across midfield. They now call it a 5-yard gain, 2nd and 5. John Volpe has the first down for the Lions. Inside Edmonton territory. Stopped by David Shelton and Willie Pless.
You gotta love the maturity of Doug Flutie, you know, second and long, and he reads the coverage. They all drop off. There goes Willie Pless. He's dropping off deep, but he's the closest guy until Shelton arrives. But you just throw underneath that coverage and make them come up and react to it with the speed of John Volpe. That's a good play.
First down, Lions at the Eskimo 41. This is Volpe, and he is inside the 35. Michel Bourgeau made the tackle with help from Larry Ruck. Kind of like what you see in number 23, Leaf.
Yeah, he's a good one. Big Jim Mills getting some blocking up front to double team on Mike Walker, but boy, you like John Volpe. He is a hard runner, that low center of gravity. He's tough to find behind those big 300-pound linemen. Got a good-looking running game established this year.
2nd and 3 for Flutie and the Lions at the 34. No catch. Etheridge. Might he have been hooked there a little bit?
I don't know. When I first looked at it, I thought Eddie Thomas timed it perfectly. We have the advantage of the instant replay. Let's have a look. No, he timed that perfectly.
Okay.
That's good coverage. So the missile. He's not able to hang on. Eddie Thomas, the rookie, and they have tested him tonight.
Lou Pasaglia from 41 yards away. His longest this season from 38. Now his longest is from 41. Pasaglia makes it a one-pointer at BC Place. The Eskimos lead 28-27. Jim Young, old Dirty 30, got to coach the BC Lions for one game last year. The interim head coach between Larry Kuharich and Bob Obilovich. Now he's upstairs. Look at his office.
Yeah, that's a nice office. He is the vice president of business operations for the BC Lions. Dirty 30 was 0-1 as a head coach, as I recall. I think we did that game last year, didn't we?
We did. Well, I waited for Bob Obilovich to arrive in Vancouver.
He couldn't get a flight that night, so Jim Young took the call. I think he likes it up there in that living room setting a little bit better than down on the AstroTurf.
Well, he's always been a classy guy.
Yeah. Well, you like him because he brought you a T-shirt tonight. I'm still waiting for mine.
Bob Obilovich took over the BC Lions last year and won 4 and lost 3.
The biggest thing he added to the organization was some stability with Joe Kapp and Larry Kuharich last year. The house got a little out of order, and
you're right about that.
Obi came in and settled everything down, and it took him a few games and to establish how he wanted to run a football team. And I think definitely you are seeing the results this year. 1-1 on the season so far, and just trailing by a point against undefeated Edmonton Eskimos.
Yeah, big overtime win for the Lions last week over the Winnipeg Blue Bombers. This is Henry Williams on the return, and he is forced out by Spencer McLennan. And Andrew Thomas, an 18-yard return.
BC Lions have hustled all night on those kick cover teams, and that time they did a nice job to force Henry that gives Williams out of bounds. You know, if you can keep a team around the 35-yard line on kickoffs, you've done a good job. And the Eskimos will scrimmage at the 36. So that's just 1 yard farther than you would like.
5 seconds different in time of possession.
1 point, net yards are almost tied. I mean, tells you how close this game really has been.
1st and 10 for the Eskimos now at the 36. Reggie Taylor slashing out right tackle, and Taylor forced out by Ken Petway, number 8. He's had a big night.
Yes, he has. You know, Blake Marshall's had a couple of touchdowns, but he has also provided some good blocking for Reggie Taylor. Here will lead the play on the lead draw. There is Marshall with the good block on O.J. Brigance. That allows Reggie Taylor to cut to the outside. He picks up 23 yards, and once again, Tracy Ham is having things pretty much his own way against this BC defense.
That's exactly why it worked out so well for the Eskimos with a 1st and 10 now at the BC 49. Ham looks deep, looks for David Williams. Jump ball. Interception. It's going the other way. Robin Belanger. Belanger hangs on. Randy and Ambrosi makes the tackle, and BC Place is going wild. Robin Belanger, first interception of the season, and he takes it back 48 yards.
All you ask of your middle safety is to just play a nice center field, and when the ball is in the air, react to it. There you see him all the way, and he reacts over. David Williams made a great adjustment to the football, but he couldn't hang on. Bounces into Robin Belanger's arms, and with a nice return, another turnover, and the BC Lions have it in their favor this time. 10-yard holding penalty brings it back a few yards, but good range from the middle safety spot. Second time tonight he's come over and been involved in a breakup.
Now did Ham underthrow that ball?
No, I think it was a pretty good pass. You know, anytime you got a David Williams who's 6'4" and a leaper, you always can count on him going up and making a play in a crowd. David Williams made a great play. He just didn't hang on to the football.
1 point separating the Lions and the Eskimos. BC first down, and John Volpe escapes once more. Out across the 50. Trent Brown. Willie Pless made the stop on Volpe after 15 yards.
You know, he's tough. He gets in behind big Larry Clarkson, who's 6'7", 305, and by the time you see him, it's too late.
He's hiding, you're telling me?
Well, you know, I mean, that's one of the advantages of being 5'9" when you got a big offensive line in front of you.
Flutie on first down. Has Clark wide open. Almost to the 30. Eddie Thomas covering 27 yards the game.
That's a great throw by Doug Flutie. You cut back Clark right down the sidelines in the soft spot in the zone. Eddie Thomas could not get over quickly enough to react to it, and Matt Clark with another big reception here in the second half. And once again, Doug Flutie has not skipped a beat. He has directed a very, very potent offense in this second half.
Lions first down at the Edmonton 30. Flutie has to get it away in a hurry. Nice play by Mark Norman to bat it down.
Now, the Edmonton secondary has taken their lumps tonight, but give credit where credit is due. Mark Norman playing out of position here at the halfback spot. Gives a good jam early on Matt Clark, and then has enough speed to react and knock that ball away. You know, Mark Norman, 10 interceptions in 1986 at UBC, so, I mean, he can get the job done.
Flutie from the shotgun. 2nd and 10. Clark hangs on. Or does he? Etheridge, rather. Number 86.
Boy, oh boy, when things are going your way, you get a bit of luck. I mean, this is a hope shot thrown up by Doug Flutie, one of his famous Hail Mary jobs, because this is up for grabs, and Ray Etheridge, I mean, you got 6 guys in a crowd there, and he comes up with the football. That's a great catch. Nice concentration by the young fella.
Number 86, Raymond Etheridge, has the BC Lions down at the Eskimo 1. It is 1st and goal to go from there. Flutie keeps himself. All right. I was reacting to the fire that was spinning out of the goalpost there. They put some firecrackers in the goalpost, in the upright.
I like that. BC fans like that, too. First time tonight they've had the lead, and a good surge. Ian Sinclair on the left guard, Rocco Romano. Afford Doug Flutie the opportunity to cap off this drive with his own touchdown of 1 yard.
Lou Pasaglia. The BC Lions have come back to take the lead for the first time. It's 34-28. Doug Flutie has passed for 330 yards so far tonight.
Now, this might be being just a little bit picky, but it's 34-28. 2-point convert would have made it a converted touchdown separation. Well, is that being picky, you know?
Yeah, I think it is.
Do you?
I think it is. Just be happy we've got an exciting ball game at BC Place.
I'm not going to ask you that anymore. There you see it. They're ahead by 6. They could have been maybe 7. But...
Well, the Eskimos are not done yet, folks.
No, they're not. A lot of weaponry in the Edmonton offense, and the first time tonight that they have trailed in this football game.
Is Ronnie having fun on the sidelines yet?
No.
Well, here's a guy who can turn the game around in a hurry. Henry Williams.
Great kickoff.
8-yard return. The Eskimos are hemmed in near the 25.
Etheridge's reception was the big play. He covered 29 yards and got him to the one where Doug Flutie took him in. And boy, is there concern on the Edmonton bench right now, because that secondary is being eaten alive by the BC Lions. We're having a quick meeting to discuss assignments.
Tracy Ham. 1st and 10 at the Eskimo 26. For Sandusky. Comes back to the ball. Lion fans don't like it, but he was in. 23 yards for Sandusky.
Toughest play for a cornerback to make is to adjust to a short football. He doesn't have his eyes on it. Sandusky, see, he's looking at the ball all the way. He knows it's short, but Norman Jefferson doesn't have that opportunity to turn around and look at it, and Sandusky makes a nice catch.
First down, Eskimos at the 50. Ham in trouble and smothered. Dietrich Wise was there.
It's pretty good footwork after that sack, too. You'll see it. The pressure coming from the right side of your screen. Here comes Dietrich Wise, and he unloads Stuart Hill as well from the onside, and I guess they'll share that sack. But Dietrich Wise with some pretty good footwork after he made that sack. He's excited. The whole place is excited.
Absolutely. A loss of 7, 2nd and 17. The Lions lead it 34-28. They trailed by 2 touchdowns at one point in the 3rd quarter. Tracy Ham escapes. Can he get the first down? Yes, he does. What a great run by Tracy Ham. Finally stopped by Robin Belanger.
Boy, got a nice block from his running back, Reggie Taylor, to get him an extra 10 or 15 yards. Watch here. See how he traps them? Then he breaks it to the outside. They can't keep the contain. And here comes the block right there. Reggie Taylor on Derek McCready. I mean, you talk about a mismatch. Reggie Taylor, 5'6", 175. He takes a guy on 265. That's called a lot of heart.
It was 2nd and 17. Ham came up with 21 yards. And now it's first down, and this is Reggie Taylor. In across the 30. Lolo James, number 32, makes the stop after 16.
Well, if there's one weakness on this BC Lion defense, it is the linebacking core. Number 90, Doug Hawkins, starting his first game as a professional, had an opportunity to hit Reggie Taylor at the line of scrimmage. He missed. That allowed him to get to the open field, and whoa, here they come.
Here come the Eskimos. First down at the BC 28. Ham. Ellis. Down to the 1.
They're picking on Lolo. They're picking on Lolo James.
27 for Ellis there. And the Eskimos are 1st and goal to go from the 1.
Well, let's see how he sets him up. He takes him to the inside, and now Lolo James has to do the speed turn to get back out, but the ball is there on time. Craig Ellis with a good concentration. He makes the catch, and boy, you can't do it any better than that. Craig Ellis has been able to do that for 10 years in the Canadian Football League. Give defensive backs all kinds of fits.
The Eskimos try and take the lead once more. And Blake Marshall is in. Little doubt about that.
Yeah, no way 5'9", 180 Robin Belanger is going to keep him out.
3 for Marshall tonight. 1 receiving, 2 along the ground, 2 from a yard away, just like this.
Well, he led the league in rushing touchdowns last year with 12, and now he has got 5 on the season, and really a mismatch there. I mean, he said, geez, I think there's a mosquito on my arm as I'm going into the end zone.
The Eskimos are back on top.
Maybe.
Miscue. Lions have the football. You're thinking back to that two-point convert.
No, I mean, they're tied. You know, they don't get the extra point. We're still tied, and Tracy Ham can't handle the snap. One more look at the Blake Marshall touchdown, but really the big play was the mishandled snap now. So instead of being ahead by 1, they are tied at 34. See, had they gone for the two-point convert and made it, they'd be ahead by 1.
Absolutely.
I think I'll leave that one alone for now. Big night for Blake Marshall. 3 touchdowns.
Well, a routine convert is not always routine. Lorenzo Graham on the return for the Lions, and he has good field position for the BC Lions out to the 44. A 24-yard return for old Lorenzo.
Well, they covered 84 yards. 21 of them came from a Tracy Ham run. Another 27 from a Craig Ellis reception. And Blake Marshall gets his 3rd score of the night. And it's 34s here in the 4th.
Now, is this going to be one of these deals with whoever has it last, or what?
I hope so.
Yeah. Well, there's over 5 minutes remaining. Lots of time for both teams.
Lions with a first down at the 44. Flutie sidearms it for Clark. And he was really only at the line of scrimmage. Met by Bass and Ruck.
They kind of made one of those Eskimo pies right there.
An Eskimo pie out of Matt Clark.
That's it.
Yeah.
That's it. Tied up here in the 4th. BC Lions, of course, last week went into overtime. Could we have that once again? Maybe.
2nd and 10 for Flutie and the Lions. Doug Flutie escapes. Back for Volpe. He gets 1 block, and that's all. Mark Norman, number 23, and Larry Ruck on Volpe.
Well, Larry Ruck made a great play to fight off the block of Mike Trevathan and then help out on the tackle. But Doug Flutie, boy, he seems like he has a sixth sense there. Leroy Blue was just zeroing in from the backside, and well, how Flutie saw him, I don't know, but he did the spinorama and got away, and they didn't pick up the first down, but he did a nice job to avoid the sack.
So Lupasaglia in once more to kick it away from his 40. And the Gizmo waits at his 25. A lane opens up for Henry Williams. Lupasaglia can't get him. And Trevathan, there's a flag down as Gizmo heads to the end zone. And he carried the ball all the way in.
Yeah, he pointed to the goal line. He said, like, hey, I'm not going to do that one again. But you know they're not cheering for the Gizmo return here.
Absolutely not.
They finally catch a break on the penalty side of things. That was a great run back.
Holding. Edmonton number 39. First down.
We may never know who the holding call was against. 74 yards nullified.
Well, Giz, listen, be proud of yourself. That was a heck of a return, and he's got some jets and great speed, and he made it over the goal line, kept the ball in his hand. He will take a lot of ribbing for that. I mean, we can't forget that one too easily, but
likely for his entire career.
But what we can't forget either is that he is without a doubt the most exciting kick returner that we have seen in this league in many, many a moon.
He has been outstanding. 3:38 to go. All even. The Eskimos have the ball, and this is Reggie Taylor Wrapped up at the 25. Seven yards. Second and 3. The Eskimos at their own 25. Stu Hill has Ham isolated. Ham got the ball away. No catch. Craig Ellis is the intended receiver. Hang on, they may call it back to the 5, although it was on third down anyway, or it will be third down coming up.
Unbelievable how he gets the football off, though. Unbelievable. Now, he paid the price. He is hurt. He is injured. But man, oh man, how he buys himself some extra time is just unbelievable.
Something to cheer about at the stadium at BC Place for now. Not the injury to the quarterback, but the fact that with 3 minutes to go, the BC Lions and the Eskimos are even at 34. Back live at the stadium at BC Place. Edmonton quarterback Tracy Ham shaken up on the previous play. He was run down by Stuart Hill.
Stuart Hill reads it perfectly. Just the sixth sense that he has from being a veteran in this league for 8 seasons. And watch how Tracy Ham gets that ball away. But as he is dragged down, he falls right on his tailbone. You see he reaches for it immediately. And well, I mean, Tracy Ham has had a super night tonight. His running ability really has been the difference and the reason why the Edmonton Eskimos are tied right now with the BC Lions. Warren Jones had some playing time in the second quarter. Displayed a very, very strong arm.
Slightly better passer than Tracy Ham.
Yeah, I would think just from the fact that he has a better arm. Now, whether he has a better grasp of how to run an offense, that's the jury's out on that one. He's too young to know. But as far as raw talent, yes, I would say he's a better passer. Tracy Ham has all the intangibles that you would ever want in a CFL quarterback. Like if you could start a team tomorrow, which quarterback would you take in the league?
Oh, yeah, right off the top.
No, like which one would you take? If you could have your choice of any of the quarterbacks in the league tomorrow and start your new team, who would you take?
Well, I'm starting to like Doug Flutie a lot, you know.
I'd take the guy right on your screen right there.
Okay.
Tracy Ham.
Your guy's hurt, though. My guy's still healthy.
Well, we're not playing tomorrow. Next week.
2:54 to go, and Tracy Ham heads to the sidelines. Doug Flutie is ready to go in and try and break this tie. It is 34-34. And the Eskimos will be forced to kick it away. Nice to see Tracy smiling as he shakes it off a little bit.
He's all right.
Ray McAready from his own 10-yard line. Under 3 minutes to go as McAready puts the boot to this one. Norman Jefferson on the return. He didn't get many yards, but the Lions have great field position. A 38-yard punt. Jed Roberts leading the Eskimo tacklers. And here comes Doug Flutie. Set to break a tie.
That's a great opportunity for him. 2:41 remaining. Tie football game and beginning a drive at his own 50-yard line. Has a chance to knock some time off the clock, try and move his club, and hopefully win the game.
Couple of first downs, and he's in field goal range. Flutie can't find anyone open. Now Christensen comes free. He's down to the 30. Jay Christensen. David Shelton, number 19, made the stop. And there was great protection for Flutie that time.
There really was. You can have a great look at it from the end zone view, but look at the time that he has and the great sight lines created for him downfield. He can see everything perfectly, and that allows Jay Christensen the time to come open, and watch how he 2 hands on that football to protect against the fumble. And boy, give the offensive line credit for the BC Lions. They have taken a lot of heat early in this season for committing some holding infractions at costly times, but that time they afforded Doug Flutie all kinds of time to pick out a receiver.
John Volpe slightly shaken up. That's the second time he's been injured tonight.
Yeah, and he's done a great job too at 5'9". He's a little guy, but he's done a great job picking up blitzes tonight and helping to protect his quarterback, Doug Flutie.
The Lions send in Lorenzo Graham. After a 30-yard gain, it is BC first down at the Eskimo 29. All even on the scoreboard at 34-34. And we're in for a great finish at BC Place tonight.
It's been a great game. I mean, this is the Canadian game. I mean, that third quarter was as an exciting quarter as you're ever going to see. I mean, both teams hitting on all cylinders and up and down, fast in and out of the huddle, go to the hurry up. I mean, you had it all.
2 great generals on the field, 2 pretty good coaches on the sidelines.
Yeah, you're right.
And if the Lions score here, this thing is not over by a long stretch. 2:14 to go.
I mean, ideally, they'd like to do this. Run the football a little bit and grind it out and run that clock down. And, you know, the worst possible scenario is to have Lou the Foot come on the field and seal it for them.
Lou the Foot.
Yeah, well, Lou the Toe was Lou the Toe Gross.
I know that, yeah.
So this is Lou the Foot.
And Lou the Foot is the all-time pro points scoring leader.
He likes that name, too. I asked him about it tonight. He said, yeah, Leaf, he says, you call me Lou the Foot. That's cool.
The gain was 2. This is 2nd and 8, facing Flutie and the Lions down. Inside the 30. Flutie back in a hurry. Can't find a target. Now looks to the end zone. Alexander was coming open, but he couldn't get there in time. So with 1:44 to go, here comes Lou the Foot.
Initially, Ray Alexander was open on the post pattern. He's waving, saying, come on, Doug, find me, buddy. But Flutie had to roll out of the pocket and buy himself some extra time, and at that point, he just couldn't connect. The good news is, though, that no turnovers committed, and Big Louie has a chance to put them in the lead once again.
The Lions in front by 3, but there is still lots of time for the Edmonton Eskimos. 1:41 to go.
And you know that Bob Abilovich will not breathe a sigh of relief until this 1:41 has elapsed. And
absolutely.
Still has a 3-point lead.
Particularly when you look back and see Henry Williams standing around the 20-yard line.
Yeah, Tracy Ham, he's all right. He will be back. And last time that the Lions kicked off, Julio Caravana, who is doing the kickoff duties tonight, put it into a really good spot. He put it into an open area, let it bounce around before the Giz could really get on track. We'll see if he can do that again.
Here he is, instant field position. Henry Williams. 1:36 to go, a 17-yard return. And O.J. Brigance led the tacklers for the BC Lions.
How did Louis feel about kicking the field goal to put them in the lead? Yeah, he said, give me a high five, Doug. See, Opie's smart. He knows there's lots of time left, so no reason to get too excited.
Tracy Ham is back. The Edmonton Eskimos have 72 yards to go. 1st and 10 at the 38. Sinkar at the 50 and 1:30 left. Lolo James made the stop. Sinkar has 11.
They have picked on Lolo James in this second half. Craig Ellis got one down in the corner on the 1-yard line. Now Marco Sinkar on the hook. That might be an area that they look to go to right here.
Eskimos with a first down at their own 51. And 1:16 to go. Here goes Tracy Ham. Almost in field goal range now.
Well, in 2 plays now, I mean, they are in field goal range for Ray McAreedy. He has the range. If the game were to, the drive were to stop right now, it would be a 46-yarder, and that's well within his range.
19 yards for Ham. (37-34). The Lions in front of the Edmonton Eskimos. Reggie Taylor, and he's to the 35 with 1:06 to go. Dietrich Wise and Doug Hocking made the stop after a 3-yard gain. Ham off target. David Williams was the intended receiver. Jefferson was covering. Less than a minute to go now. And it's 3rd down. McAreedy in for the tie.
Remember, he had a chance to win the game last week against Ottawa, and he missed one from outside the 40-yard line. Andre Francis was called for offside against Ottawa, gave him a second chance, but I wonder if this is going through Ray McAreedy's mind right now.
This is from 42 yards away. The Eskimos look for the tie. McAreedy is wide with 47 seconds on the clock. You see, I said they were almost in field goal range a couple of seconds ago, and you said they were already there.
Well, I mean, he has no problem with the length on that, but you know, you look back to last week, and he missed the crucial one. And the snap was bobbled on the last extra point. These are things that go through a kicker's head, and you see the reaction of his head coach. Ronnie figured from 42 out that'd be in the bag for Ray McAreedy, but such was not the case. You have to feel sorry for a young kicker, but a lot of things go through their minds. They have a lot of time to stand on the sidelines and think about not only good things, but sometimes negative things.
So Doug Flutie has 47 seconds to waste. (37-35) is the score right now. The Lions trying to escape with a victory. This is 2nd and 6. Flutie is down.
Boy,
dangerous, wasn't it?
Yeah, well, not really. I mean, you know, he did the great thing, though. The clock ticked off on the 20-second clock just as the ball was snapped. I mean, he used every possible second. Edmonton, I'm sure, will call a timeout. So that clock will have to stop with 19 seconds remaining, that the BC Lions cannot run it out on the punting situation. They will force them to kick the football.
(37-35). Bobo Bilovich on the verge of 2 straight narrow victories in 2 weeks. Lou Pasaglia back at his 25. Henry Williams has a chance for 1 return. And Williams steps out. There was nowhere to go. A 2-yard return for Henry Williams and 10 seconds left for 1 try, maybe 2.
I think 10 seconds, you got 2 plays, and let's count it up here. 10, 15. You need 30 yards to have a realistic chance for Ray McAreedy.
Well, if he gets there, it would be for the win this time, rather than the tie.
They need about 30 yards on this pass play, and they've got to do it in a hurry. They only have 10 seconds left.
Tracy Ham has time. Ellis has the catch at the 40.
They got 30 yards right on the button. I said they need 30. That'll give them a 47-yard field goal shot for the win.
3 seconds on the clock.
Can you believe it? They got 30 right on the button. They went from their 40 to BC's 40.
So what goes through McAreedy's mind as he sets up to go for the win here now? No time on the clock.
He's thinking, I better make this thing or they're going to take my plane ticket away.
Hang on 1 second, Ray. Craig Ellis is cramped up down near the 45.
You know, some people may say, well, he's stalling to let them get organized, but no way. I mean, he doesn't want to, as they say in basketball, freeze the shooter, have McAreedy standing around thinking too much. He is definitely not feeling too well down there. Now, BC, they may call a timeout here to kind of ice McAreedy just a little longer.
A 2-point ball game. McAreedy has his shots. Had a 3rd straight win for the Edmonton Eskimos. Ray McAreedy, a 47-yard field goal. His career high last year against the BC Lions.
So we know we can do it. That was outdoors. This is indoors, a little easier. So, hey, Ray, you've done it before.
No time on the clock. It's all or nothing for the Eskimos and Ray McAreedy here. Up. And wide. The Lions win.
He overcompensated.
The Lions win by a point. McAreedy had 2 kicks at it. 1 for the tie with less than a minute to go. And 1 for the victory with no time left on the clock. The Lions escape. So Bob Obilovich and the BC Lions are now equal with Ron Lancaster and the Edmonton Eskimos. 2 wins, 1 loss in the Western Division right now. BC by a point at BC Place tonight.
BC wins a nail-biter, 37-36 over the Edmonton Eskimos here at BC Place, which is once again a graveyard for Edmonton. Back with more on the Game of the Week in just a moment. To you by Armor All Car Cleaner. Final play of the game. No ticks left on the clock. Ray McAreedy from 47 yards out with a chance to win the ball game. But he leaves it to the right. A chance to be the hero, but instead the BC Lions go home with the win. A cash donation will be made to the Coaching Association of Canada for training and development of coaches in amateur sport on behalf of TSN and Armor All Car Cleaner, the one safe and effective solution for all your car cleaning needs. OB is a winner again. We'll have more from BC Place in just a moment. Next week, we'll be at Commonwealth Stadium in Edmonton. It starts with a CFL report at 9 o'clock Eastern time from Commonwealth Stadium. And that's followed by football, another great Western matchup. This time, the Saskatchewan Roughriders and the Edmonton Eskimos. The game starts at 7:30 Eastern time. We'll have it for you live next Wednesday here on TSN. Our final score here at BC Place. The Lions 37, the Eskimos 36. What a dandy it was. Good night from Vancouver.